Oh, shit. And away we go. Welcome back to another Gettin Salty Experience podcast. Big guest tonight. Big,
huge.
We're not going to introduce him yet.
Huge.
As always, got my sidekick, Lieutenant Ruffy Rafrano.
What up?
There he goes. We got the maestro there, producer / Proby Pete.
Shalom.
Hello.
Oh, he's got his own little face. Comics account. We're all drinking. We got a real special guest tonight. I don't know. We got a really special. Got a really special guest tonight. But first, Pete, the shameless plug, of course, we're brought to you by www.gettingsaltyapparel.com.
I know those.
And you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. Yada 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 yada. But let's get to our guest, the Godfather, the Don Corleone of SOC.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
The guy without a mustache. I don't recognize him without his mustache.
Yeah, he looks young. He's younger.
He looks young. Chief Freddie LaFemina. Chief Freddie LaFemina.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love him.
It's an honor to be here. It's an honor.
So, Chief, started out. Oh, there you go. You're a Brooklyn guy, born and bred Brooklyn guy?
Correct, Canarsie.
Canarsie, mean kid. So you were going? Were you cruising down up and down 86th Street back in the day?
Once in a while.
El Dorado. You had an El Dorado? What'd you have?
No. IROC? No?
No, I didn't start driving until I was like 20 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
So what year did you get on the job, the J.O. Bizzle?
1985.
1985. What made you get on the job?
Well, I was a mailman. I was a mailman for 5 years, and I swear to God. But anyway, I was a mailman, and my dad was on the job, and my brother, and I said, it's time to make the move. So
did you wear the shorts with the big high bobby socks?
No.
You didn't wear those.
No, I was a hangout hippie kind of guy.
Oh, long hair hippie mail deliverer.
Yeah.
You never thought about going postal on anybody, did you?
No, but I can. I'm allowed to. I have the excuse.
He's carrying.
I'm allowed.
So where did you said your dad and your brother were on?
My dad,
I know your brother. Your brother.
Yeah.
I didn't know your brother was on before you.
Yeah, he got on in 81. Yeah.
He got in 81. Where was your dad?
My dad was a fireman in 243 in Bensonhurst, and then a lieutenant in the Super Pumper. He retired out of the Super Pumper. Yeah.
How many years did he have on?
38.
Holy moly, guacamole.
Your brother's not on the job. He got out before you?
He got out in 03.
Yeah. He was in Rescue 3, right?
Rescue 3 retired out.
Every time I see him, he'd say the same thing to me all the time. Would you stop working out? Are you sick?
I tell him to say that.
Get cool.
So you get on the job, what, 84?
85.
I was a junior in high school. Thank you. Where did you go when you came out of Proby school?
I'll tell you a funny story. There was only 44 guys in our class, and the rumor was we were going to go to fire prevention, and everybody was bent out of shape. Proby school was only 6 weeks. So my dad worked in headquarters at the time. I said, Dad, we're going to fire prevention. He goes, yeah, it looks like it. So I was on the refrigeration and air conditioning task force.
You don't have that one on. You didn't tell us that on your resume.
Oh, no,
that's not on the resume.
I got a certificate though.
Yeah, nice.
And the funny story was Tony Fusco was the chief of department. My grandmother's a Fusco, so we always used to kid my cousin's the chief of department.
Nice, a little relation. Nice.
So I called him. I said, Chief. He said, you guys are all going. You can't get out of it if I get you out of it. So for 8 weeks, we worked. My job was to go around to taxpayers and check to see if it had a roof air conditioner or a window air conditioner.
And what was it? Was there a job or something that made everybody do that? Or
no, it was a permit thing. It was a permit thing for fire prevention. So they used us. Wait. You started work at 8 o'clock and you were done by 11 o'clock.
Oh, time out. You know what? We didn't give the word of the day, Pete.
Well, this is what we're waiting for.
That's right.
The word of the day is
forget about it.
Forget about it.
You kidding?
You know the whole thing with forget about it, right?
No.
You watch Donnie Brasco?
Yes.
Yeah.
So forget about it. It could be like, those peppers and mozzarella. Forget about
it. Right.
Or it could be
That
like,
guy
hey,
over there.
that guy thing over there. Forget about it.
Keep saying it.
Keep
The
saying
audience
it.
really wants to get hammered.
I love it.
You go. Eventually, you make your way over to Squad 1, correct?
Right, but I went to 318
So
first. 318.
Oh, 318.
Coney
That's
Island.
right. We forgot. We went to after fire prevention. You go to 318.
318.
How long did you do in 318?
I was there for a year. I went to the truck. I went over to the truck.
166.
166.
You're
Great bunch
there
of
for a
guys.
year, and you get over to the truck. What,
I was.
Made the
I
call.
was.
You
The captain wasn't happy. The captain wasn't happy. But I went to the truck and I stayed there for 3 years. And when I had enough time to go to the squad, I went over to the squad.
For 4 years, you went over to Squad 1.
3 years. In those days, you had to be a first grade firefighter. It only took 3 years.
3 years, right?
And at the time, Gil Murtha was the captain, very famous captain. And I had interviewed with him as a probie. I thought I was going there like I really wanted to go to a lot of fires. And he interviewed me like he was taking me for like an hour. We spoke. And I said, this is great. I'm coming here. And he says, how long are you on the job? I said, 9 months. He said, I'll see you in 3 years.
That wasn't even bad 3 years back then. But back then it might have been.
3 years.
Back then it was. It might have been like that, you know.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So you wanted to go to Squad 1. You knew you wanted to go to Squad 1 right away.
I did. You know why? I was working at 253 engine one night, and we get a taxpayer. We're first due. It's a cellar fire. We're getting our heads beat in. I'm third on the line. I'm a probie or second year. I'm whatever. And the officer's like, it's getting bad in here. Let's get out. Squad 1 pulls up. We're outside the building. I see the officer talk to the chief.
Right.
All of a sudden, the line's in. The fire's knocked down. I said to the officer, how come those guys could do it and we couldn't do it? He's like, it's a different fire when they get here.
It's funny. Chief Hosh said that he knew he was in the engine and he saw, the chief wouldn't let him in. Rescue 1 pulled up. This is when he was in the engine. And Rescue 1 went right into the, took the line, went right down. And he's like, that's when I knew, he had to make a move to go to one of these places, right?
Yeah, in those days, Kev, it was a lot different. Like we only went to 1075s. We only had 30 first due boxes. So we did 2,000. That's it, 30 boxes. We did 2,000 runs a year, 1,900 1075 runs.
They're still doing, they're not really running that much.
Pretty good run to work ratio right there.
There was no running.
100%.
Yeah.
97%.
It was great. It was great. Of course, you didn't work at every job, but you were active. Right. You were going to them. It was great.
So
that was the best. At that point,
you were the only squad of the borough, right? I mean, 40.
You were the only squad on the job.
And the job, I meant. That's what I meant.
On the job.
You cover the entire borough of Brooklyn, or
No, we didn't. We had 9 battalions at the time. We didn't cover the whole borough, but we used to get thrown a bone once in a while. If Rescue 2 was out, we'd call up and they'd send us to jobs in those other battalions.
Did you still go to Staten Island then?
We went to Staten Island on like a special call, but we didn't go on the all hands or multiple.
Oh, really?
It had to be a special call. Yeah.
So there was no SOC back then.
There he is. Look at him.
No, we were in the 4-8 battalion.
Right, but did you have the same type of training that they were giving the rescues?
No, there was no
fires.
The only training we got, we were a fire unit, which was nice because we didn't do all the bullshit running, like the pin jobs and all that other stuff. So all we did was go to fire. So that
at least you rolled your boots up in that one, there, Chief.
Yeah, you had to. That was one of the things in the company. If you had your boots on, they had to be up. If you went into the store and you had your boots on, the captain said you better have them up. Don't put them on.
I like that.
Up. Yeah, you had to wear boots on, boots up.
So
you got the survival light there?
Yeah. Yeah.
A fire machine. All you did is go to fires and first do.
That's all we did. It was great. It was the best time. My favorite and best time on the job was firefighter in Squad 1. Hands down.
How long did you do that?
7 years I was there.
Wow.
Why didn't you buy any brownstones back then?
I'll tell you a funny story. Another funny story.
Come on, guy.
Right up the block, there was all vacant brownstones there. And we were crawling around in them all day, every day, fires. And Con Edison had a program, the electric company. They would sell you a brownstone for $1. You had to buy it, renovate it, and either live in it for 3 years or have family members live in it. So we're all sitting around a kitchen table. Guys are like, hey, we should buy brownstones and renovate. And we're like, what are you kidding me? There's rats in them, man. What? He bought 11 of them.
Who was that? One of the guys?
Guy in 122 truck, Tom Tierney, bought 11 brownstones, renovated them, became a multimillionaire, and that was the end. Those aren't just worth
$1 million. Those are worth like 5 and 10.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now. Yeah.
Each.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Incredible stuff. That area is, I mean, absolutely untouchable.
Well, we had the best of both worlds. We were kind of in a good neighborhood. We went to the ghettos to do the fires, and then everybody loved us when we came back because they thought, oh, these guys are always here. We were never there, but they used to think we were there. You know?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I can't believe that nobody bought a building over there.
You guys, back then there was no EMS, no nothing. So you guys were the first two boxes and fires.
That's it.
How did you guys get along with Rescue 2 back then?
You got to understand, Rescue 2 was a very senior company then. So I used to admire those guys. I used to look at those guys and go, oh, I love those guys. But there was nobody in the company, including myself, that wanted to go there. I wanted to stay where we were, you know. But I learned a lot from those guys. I got to work very closely with them and, you know, through the job and stuff. So I learned a lot working on it.
Did you guys get to work there? Would you backfill their manpower at all? Or no, they wouldn't.
No, they were in the 5-7 battalion. We were in the 4-8 battalion. I used to work in 105 truck, 240 engine, but they were good guys. They were all great guys. You know, it's like a night off for us. You know, we'd go. It was like a day and a night off.
105 was doing some work though, right? At some point, they were pretty shitty there, right?
Well, they're the busiest of the slowest trucks on the job. That's what we used to say. But they were great guys, though. Yeah. It was on 105. You're the busiest of the slow trucks.
Yeah.
Big study house, always, right? 105.
Yeah, it was like the West Point, but those guys treated you like gentlemen. You know, they did things by it. They had regulations day on Wednesday. They would do the whole day tour and night tour by the regs.
Hey, Chief, I just got a little message. Glenn said Glenn just chimed in. He said, you never beat him up the stairs.
That's a funny. You want to hear a story about that? I was actually going to get beat up a couple of times, and he had to step in because you know how big he is, right?
No. What do you mean?
I don't know if you know my reputation as a chief. I'd be out there all night. I keep the 8 out till midnight. We never went back for lunch, dinner maybe. But the big deal was I wanted to chase fires. I wanted to be daytime in Manhattan for construction stuff.
Right.
And then Brooklyn or the Bronx at night, you catch the fires. So we're in Manhattan one night. I take him to this special hot dog place. I say, Glenn, I got this hot dog place on St. Mark's. And we already had a couple of jobs already. So now they bang a box around the corner. 3 trucks first, though. I said, get the rig, grab your hot dogs. He's shoving the hot dogs in his mouth while he's driving.
Like this.
Yeah. But now it's up the fires like on the 8th floor. So I see 3 truck get in the elevator. I said, let's go, bro. So we start running up the stairs. And I always say, he said, I beat you up the stairs. You didn't beat me up the stairs. I couldn't get around him, man.
Yeah, he blocked you out. That's what it is.
He blocked the whole goddamn stairs.
Yeah. He could go as slow as he wanted. He just took up the whole space. That's why.
But then the officer got a little annoyed. You know, I understood. You know, like kind of like we're kind of like ducked in the fire department. And
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. So Glenn had to like get in and say, listen, nobody talks to him like that. You know, he was great. He was like my bodyguard.
He was like who was the guy from The Godfather? He was like
he was Luca Brasi.
Luca Brasi. He was the Luca Brasi.
Like, Luca Brasi. Yeah, he protected me like I was his son.
Hey, Pete, I gave you a forget about it. What happened?
He's so enthralled with the story.
I am.
You can't believe a fat man could run up the stairs that fast.
Hey. He had a million names from. I love the dad.
Dude, listen, I got one good fish story, bro. He's telling me one day on a night tour, I'm driving him, what a great basketball player he is. Now, mind you, fish is like 300 pounds. I'm like, you can't get 5 inches off the ground. How are you getting that massive tub off the ground? You just watch me, Coobs. Watch me. We're not even playing 20 seconds, and he rolls his ankle, bro. And
I remember that.
Dude, the ankle swells up. If a big guy's ankle could swell up, his ankle swelled up. but
Fat bastard.
but he's afraid to tap out because you don't have the spot in 288 yet. You know,
I remember that. I remember that. He was trying so hard to get the spot.
Oh my God, he's dragging his ankle behind him. He couldn't wait for the tour to get over, bro.
I remember that.
Great basketball player.
Yeah.
I think it was the first play, right? It was the first play, right?
First play, and 20 seconds in, he rolls his ankle.
I think he did that on purpose.
Yeah.
We had a million nicknames for him. We called him Pork Chop.
Yeah,
Then
Pork Chop was a big one, right?
Shrek.
Shrek is the other one.
Shrek.
He looks like Shrek. He really does.
Yeah.
Feels like Shrek. He's got a pack of hot dogs in the back of his neck. Hot dogs in the back of his neck.
That was my
tough guy in a fire.
I was going to say that was my 24 partner. He was he always took care of me. He always did. I have to say.
He's tough fireman. Tough guy.
The fatness I used to call him.
Well, let me ask you a question. So you're in Squad 1, great place. What made you want to study and get out of there?
You know, what happened was when I was in 318, the lieutenant's exam was in 86. So all these guys were studying. So like I got into the books because I was always into the books, even in probie school. So when I got to Squad 1, the senior man, Kenny Pogue, and he saw me studying. He said, "You really want to be here?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Then why are you studying?" I said, "I want to be a better firefighter." He said, "Oh, okay." So I was already into the books when I got there, so I didn't stop. That's what happened.
So
but the test was postponed for 2 years almost, so it gave me that extra time.
Which is good for you, sitting in
It was
Squad
great.
1.
Yeah, I cried when I left that place. But I went back covering.
I was going to say, where'd you go get assigned to what battalion?
I went to the 3-7 battalion. That's another good story. Where we're doing a carpool thing. We're in lieutenant school. As soon as the first day, the chief gets up there. Bobby Remhill's a deputy. He said, "Hey, you guys, by the way, nobody's going to the 15th division. But if any way you want, nobody's going to the 15th." So I called cousin Tony. I say, "Tony, nobody's going to the 15th. He's Freddie. What battalion do you want to go to?" I said, "The 3-7. He goes, "You're going to the 3-7. So me and Joe Downey went to the 4-4. I went to the 3-7, and Tony DeVita went to the 4-4.
Oh, you guys were all in the same class?
We were all in the same class.
Oh,
we got promoted the first day. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, all of us.
Wow. Hey, somebody's asking you about your trip to Russia.
Well, what about it? What do you want to know?
Somebody said ask him about his trip to Russia.
Man.
Are you sure you want to ask?
He had to stop off at the Kremlin. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of stories. Hey, let me tell you, I've been all around the world, and the brothers were exactly the same in Russia as they are in New York City. I'm in this ghetto firehouse in Russia, and the guys are all like pissy, like they're really not nice guys. But I think that's like the Russian mentality.
Right.
So the captain spoke English. I'm in his office. The first thing he does is take out a bottle of vodka.
Nice.
He says to me,
like this one?
Like
just like no, they said, well, yeah. They don't
just like
drink
318.
Good Lord.
So he says to me, I say, "Cap, what the guy? They don't like Americans?" He goes, "No." He goes, "They're all pissed off." I said, "Why?" He said, "They haven't had a job in 2 days." I said, "Oh, just like in New York."
Yeah, exactly right. Everybody gets all, pissy when they don't have any work.
Exactly. We had about 5 or 6 shots of vodka, and
loosened
everything
up.
was good. Yeah, it was good.
So you have to call Tony Fusco to get over to Rescue 4? How'd you get that spot?
No, that's
Well,
another funny story.
248. Well, you went to 248 first,
248.
right?
I get promoted. I'm covering. I'll go straight to 290 right out of Flip.
That shit shop?
He hates 290. He hates.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I learned more.
Dislike.
Artie, I forget Artie's last name. He's a fireman in 147 truck. He's in 8 and the 15th. He goes, "Freddie, I got a UFO spot." So I had little kids. My wife was working. I lived in Canarsie. He says 290. I said, "Yeah, sign me up." So I went there for 6 months. I learned everything you need to learn as a lieutenant in that 6 months. So
I didn't know that you were there that
yeah, I
long.
was there 6 months. I didn't put in for the spot because it was I just didn't want to. I wanted to wait. And then I wound up in 248. I was there for about.
So why do you say I hate 90, bro?
I just know.
It was crazy at the time. It was. I'll give you an example. Ira Trow was my chauffeur. He was supposedly like a great chauffeur there. On the 23rd run on a Saturday night, I'm getting back in the rig. He says to me, hey, Lou, pretty busy, right? I go, "Busy?" He goes, "This is annoying." I go, "Hey, we had 23 runs and no fires." It was just one of those nights because I caught some work there. You're going to catch work. That's inevitable. But The running, and then
Oh, the running, of course, yeah.
EMS started. We're doing like 600 EMS runs a month. It was crazy.
Yeah, I can't do.
Nah,
I went right to the truck. I was there for like 2 years.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
I was going right to the truck.
Yeah, but the guys, like Louis will tell you, like turning out or into the job, they're the tops, the best.
So you get the spot in 248.
That's a great
spot,
dude. That was a great by themselves. You know, back in the day, right? You know, when he's there, is like top. They're between 157, right? 157, yeah, 4-1 battalion, right between.
Jack Pritchard was the
Pritchard,
captain of 255. So you know how things are, button heads. If Jack was working, I tell the guys, Pritchard's working. Make sure your ass is on the rig. He's not beating.
He's turning out, right? 255's turning out, man.
You want to hear a great story though? I'm coming down Nostrand Avenue one night, and I know Pritchard's working, and I see the fire blowing out the window. It's a light commercial fire on the second floor in the apartment. So I said, I hear 255 urgent. He gives a 1075. I'm like, oh man, he's got the fire. So I tell my chauffeur, Dave Brandenburg, old timer. I said, Dave, there's a hydrant in front of the building. Take the hydrant, because they wound up backstretching. Take the height. He takes the front of the building. We stretch the transverse hose bed at the time. And I tell him, drop the booster tank. Pritchard looks at me. He's waiting for water. He goes, Freddie, that was the best move I ever saw. He goes, I can't believe you did that. I go, oh, I'm first too. You know, so it was like that, though. That's the way it was.
We were just talking about him the last. We did something on the Wallbaum's fire. I didn't even know anything about that. Yeah,
nobody even close to this.
Really unbelievable.
I was at the fire where he got the second Bennett medal. I was covering in Rescue 2, I think, that day, and he literally dragged this kid out in a house that was on fire. In his crib, he literally dragged the crib out of the house. I mean,
real deal.
Yeah, no doubt. You know.
So how long did you do in 248?
Just about 11 months, and then it took 12 months. I felt bad.
I made the call, man. All right.
No, it wasn't a call. There was things going on in SOC, and they were kind of looking for officers.
What kind of things? Like funny things? What kind of things
they were looking like for guys, you know.
Couple things.
I knew a guy.
I knew a guy.
And they said, they put me over. They said, listen, would you like to take a detail? So I took a detail over, and I wound up in 4.
What year was that?
Oh, you just wound up there.
1990. Let's see, 94, 1995. I got assigned to at the end of 95, the beginning of 96. I got assigned to rescue. I had 10 years on the job. I was a lieutenant in the rescue.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
I remember you. Hatton was there too, right? Then
Hatton got. They had that big thing went on. He got promoted. He got promoted. No, the thing with the rig, that's a whole other story. But listen, I got Hatton's spot. I went up.
Oh, you had his spot. All right.
Yeah, I had his spot. No, I wasn't there with him.
Who was the other bosses there at that time? I'm trying to remember.
It was me, Larry Gray.
Oh, Larry Gray, right?
The manhead, Glenn Harris, who I love, and Jack Corker was the captain.
I still see Glenn Harris, man. He lives by me in Long Beach.
He was great. Like a fireman, if you're trapped.
Oh yeah, we say it every week. Every week.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Him and Quick, right?
Yeah, they probably got you in the spot, but you know,
probably got you in that mess.
Well, Quick was already lifted already, so I don't have to worry about Billy. But Billy's another guy. He had Billy give his heart to you if he had a, you know, he give the shirt off his back, you know.
Yeah. So you get there in 95. So when the squads are forming in 98, what are your thoughts about it?
Okay, here's now I'm on a captain's list, right? So I'm thinking Downey's now in charge. And he had been in charge a couple of years already. I'm saying, I got to get back to SOC, right? But it's not that easy. And I'm still young. I'm still a young lieutenant. So I said to Downey, listen, Chief, is there something I could do to, you know? And then you guys know, you worked with me. I took the rescue school.
Right.
So while I was in 4, I took the rescue school. And in the rescue school, I got promoted to captain in 98 in the interim.
And that's when we became the squad in July of 98.
Right, but you guys were coming to the classes. Louis, you weren't. It was you.
Yeah, we were going to the trailer. The trailer. We were going to the trailer.
I said to Downey, we can't get any instructors. I said, can I use squad guys? He goes, yeah. If you think they're good, they were great. So I had you, Neary, DeVolio. I mean, you guys used to get up early in the morning, you know. Nikki worked for me for a while.
Corrado,
Yeah. Nikki.
I remember that trend when that whole thing started, right? Is that crazy to think about what it is now?
Exactly.
What it was. It was like a rundown trailer that the guys built a little deck out front,
Listen,
right?
You know, I would have to, Downey would say run a collapse course. I used to have to get slabs. I heard I would go to like Kennedy Airport was cutting up the runways.
Mm-hmm.
I said to the guy, "What are you doing with those slabs?" He goes, "They're like 30 tons." He goes, "We're running them out of here in trucks and getting rid of them." I said, "Could you deliver a couple over to Randall's Island?"
That's right. We used to drill in them, right? We used to like drill with the Cobra and all that shit.
Yeah,
right?
He goes, "How are you going to get them?" I said, "You guys are going to have to drop them off." Like, I give them T-shirts. I mean, you had to do everything on your own, but everybody helped out. It was great.
Fred, Chief, you see that Ray said Chief Downey caught me drinking beer after Freddie let us out early one day. What you used to say, right? All the time, you'd be like, "Listen, get out of here. Don't let me hear that you get caught doing anything stupid, right? Or don't get into it. Just get the hell home. Don't do anything stupid." Well, meanwhile, everybody was going down the block to the parking lot over there.
Well, a big Billy, quick Billy Quick story. I love Billy, but I had to fire him from the rescue school. But anyway, he says to me one day, we always had a barbecue at the end of the week for the guys. So I go to the refrigerator, I go in the freezer and I see there's like 6 cases of beer in the freezer. So I'm going, what? So Quick is working for me. He comes in, I go, "Bill, what's up with the beer in the freezer?" He goes, "The ice machine over at the building 9 is broke. I had to throw it in the freezer." I go, "I don't care how cold it is. I want it out of here."
I got a Chief LaFemina story, but it was when you were lieutenant. You probably don't even remember this, though. It's so freaking funny, though.
This is great. When he told me this week, I was crying. I was crying.
It's over the Brooklyn border. It's over by Ridgewood. Okay, it's row frames, top floor row frames, right? And we both pull up about the same time. I think it was like over there by Underdunk or something over there. I don't know, some of the row frames. And we get in, and the chief is in. I don't even know where the 2-8 is because they're right there, but they're not in. So you're kind of game planning there, and it's me, you, Evans. I think it was Evans. Was it Evans? I don't know. And the captain from 135 truck. So the captain turns to you. You got the top floor going now with frames. So the captain turns to you and says, "I got the tower ladder right here. I could set it up. We can get this thing going right away." And you turn to him and you go, "Not tonight, princess."
I remember the job. I don't know. I wasn't a big towel ladder guy.
Yeah. Not tonight, princess.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God.
No, I remember that.
I got the tower ladder right here. I could set it up. We can start. Yeah.
Yeah, parking around the block.
You know what? I was when I talked to Coobs this week, something that stuck out to me was, and I think Garrett Lindgren just mentioned it. When you were at the rescue school, they had that job on the water tower, right?
Yeah.
So tell us. I never got the whole story. I mean, I know that you guys ran over there, and there was a whole.
I'll tell you exactly what was going on. I always kept the radio on in the office. So I was prepping for a rope class in the next couple of weeks. So I had been mungling for old furniture and stuff over on the other side of the island. And I'm driving back and I see the truck and I see the guys are going to go up in the tower. And I said to the guys, "What are you doing up there?" And they said, "Oh, we got to do some work on the cell phone tower and we got cell stuff up there." I said, "Oh, pretty cool." So then I go back to the office and I'm sitting there, whatever. And I hear on the radio, a guy ran into the rock and he told somebody on duty there as a verbal, "We got a guy trapped up on a water tower." And I'm thinking, "Oh, gee, I was just there an hour ago." So I had a Suburban. I threw a bunch of stuff in the back of the truck. I called the dispatcher. I said, "Listen, fill it out. Make sure you get a rescuing squad." And we got over there and O'Connell rode the guy down. It was like a big deal. We had never done a high-angle rope rescue at that point. That was like our first high-angle rope rescue. So Kevin Williams was in Rescue 3. They were first due, Squad 41. And then Rescue 2 came in because it was relatively new. But the best was Kevin. He was in the 12th Battalion. I forget his last name. He says to me, "Lieutenant, you mean to tell me you're going to tie that guy in a basket with those colored ropes that I never saw, and you're going to lower him 150 feet to the ground? I'm supposed to be comfortable with that." I said, "Yeah." I said, "These guys are trained to do it." As soon as it was done, he said, could I take this class? And he was in class. He was in the first class. He came.
You know what? Yeah, because we learned the ropes, right? And then that happened not too, long after that. Right. It did happen right then. And I remember saying to myself, holy shit.
Yeah.
That, and that was a real deal. Like that was.
No, that
how many feet? How many feet is he up there? 100 feet. Yeah, 100 foot.
Feet.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that. And that's when we said we were going to have you on. I'm like, I got to ask him about that job because for years after that, that was like something that the guys discussed all the time about doing high angle stuff.
Yeah, and actually O'Connor, we had this big thing and that whole riding the attendant on the Stokes.
Was that the dirt guy, O'Connor? No,
John O'Connor, the last guy in Rescue 3.
That was the dirt guy. Right?
I got a good story about him, bro.
I got a lot of them. I love John.
Like that,
I love John. John was my John. Talk about John. John wrote all those programs for the rescue.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
He'd be there. He'd give up and in those days you didn't get overtime. If you worked at the rescue school, you got a day off. John would do 3 or 4 weeks there for me. I mean, he was unbelievable.
He was the catalyst in the beginning.
He was. He wrote all the programs. And any curriculum we had, John designed it.
Yeah.
Well, we go there one time, bro. We don't know shit about shit with collapse or anything. We're just learning it. I swear to God, it's a true story. So he says in the beginning of the class, fellas, I understand you don't know anything, so no question is a stupid question. Ask whatever you want, right? 20 minutes later, some guy raised his hand.
I remember this.
And O'Connor goes, are you fucking kidding me?
I remember that so clear. The guy felt like this big, right? He was just like,
what happened to those questions? Stupid questions.
Forget about it.
Listen, Kevin, real quick. I got to give a shout out to two of my brothers over in London, England. They're on live right now, 1:00 in the morning.
Oh, it's like you, man. They really like you.
My buddy Snowy, my buddy Jamie. I got to give them a shout out, man, because I know they're on live.
Oh, that guy's always on here, Snowy, right?
He's always on here.
Snowy he used to take his vacations and ride with us on Rescue 4.
Where in England are they?
Snowy's retired now. He's a little north, and Jamie's actually a police officer in that area as well.
All right, fellas. Here's to you guys.
Nice, you guys staying up. Who was Chief? Who was the short guy that also told? Oh, right.
Super Mike Davis, another guy.
He was there every day.
Smithwick grabbed him by the throat, bro.
One of many guys Smithwick grabbed by the throat.
Oh my God! Oh my.
But Mike Davis was another guy. He's Rudy. His nickname was Rudy.
I like it, man. That's great. I didn't know that.
Super fine, Mike. He could do anything.
Rudy with glasses.
He was always there. He taught a lot of classes there too, right?
He did everything.
Yeah. All right. So what do you go after that?
So I'm in 4. Now I get promoted. This story gets better.
Well, hold on one second. Before we fast forward, I wanted to talk about, Chief. We talked about you were in Rescue 4 as lieutenant for the Atlantic Avenue fire, correct?
Correct.
So that was actually, we were just becoming a squad.
You were a squad. I checked it, Louis, because 252.
Oh, we were?
Yeah, 252 was at the fire.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
We were a squad. It was right there. It was
right in those months, right? I think we became a squad, but we didn't finish all the training. I think it was a few months, and I think that's when it happened because we got relocated. 288 got relocated to 332. Right. I listened to the whole job on the radio.
Yeah.
So when did you guys got assigned?
Right away. I'll tell you what happened. Rescue 2 was at some high rise thing in 11th Division down on Tillery Street. So as soon as the fire, they got the fire and then they had the problem right away. So they assigned us as the rescue. Rescue 2 took up. We kind of got in together. We wound up going to a 5th alarm. When I get there, Chief Galvin, Tommy Galvin's on the outside. He's the chief of the 4-4. He tells me what's going on. He goes, you got to get inside. Eddie Kilduff was the chief of the 3-8. He was supervising the removal. The collapse already occurred at that point. And we get in there, and it's 231's holding the fire back. Guys are digging. Timmy Stackpole out. Blackmore. There's a couple of guys in the
right, they're all hung up.
Right. Scotty's hung up on the banister. He burned. He got burned up pretty good, but he's hung up. So we had to get some ladders because we had to do some shoring. This thing was coming down, so we shoved some portable ladders under it. Continued to work, and I'll never forget. I talked to Chief Carruthers later on, who was the chief of department at the time. He said he was minutes away from pulling us out of there and leaving the guys in there. That's how bad it looked on the outside.
Really?
Wow.
But I'll never forget when we finally, Timmy got out. Scotty's already at the hospital. We don't even know it's Scott because I'll tell you the story why we don't know. But
LePedra,
LePedra.
yeah.
Scotty was like my mentor in Squad 1. He like took me under his wing, even though we were the same age. He had been there for 5 years. He only did a year in 239 engine, and he was in the squad already. He was a super fireman. So he was actually going to be the captain of 288. He was slated to go there. So
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was.
I heard that. Yes.
So anyway, I'll never forget. Once we get this all under control, not under control, but we take Blackmore out. I remember the guys, they're doing their thing. And I come walking out, and Petroselli, he's the chief in the 15th Division, and I knew him. He was an old time. He was the chief in the 4-1. He grabs me. He says, Fred, can you do me a favor? I said, what? He goes, could you get to the top floor of the exposure? And I remember looking up, and exposure 2, 2A, 2B, and 2C.
Yeah, right. It was going. Yeah, it was going across. Yeah.
So Phil Ruvalo was in Rescue 2. We kind of hooked up, and forget it. We got our heads beat in. I remember going through like 5 or 6 cylinders at that fire.
Wow.
The sad part about that was Gansey was the chief of the farm, and he comes in. Mike Galla was buffing around. He came in and was getting some stuff done. And Gansey came over to me. He said, Freddie, could you identify Scott LePedra? I said, of course I can. I worked with him for years. He said, I go over to the hospital and go take a look. And then when I got there, we couldn't identify him. But they moved him right away. Yeah, he was burnt beyond recognition. But Scotty was a runner. So he lived a whole month. He died on July 4th.
That was he got caught up in the BX?
Is that up? Yeah. No, not the BX. The landing collapsed. So he might have got caught in the BX, but he was caught up in all that wood and stuff.
He didn't fall all the way through. I remember.
No, he was hung up. That's why he was burned so bad. But John Shulkin was in 176.
Yeah.
And I know John good. John was able to grab onto the window in the hallway, and he was able to get out the window. He was burnt up too, John. But
it was.
The kick in the ass about Stackpole was he survives that.
He survived and then had to
9/11.
He came back. 1 or 2 days. He wrote in the journal. I seen the journal. He wrote in 290-103's journal. Thanks for everything you guys did for me. Blah blah blah. And he goes, I think he just got promoted, and I think he just came back, and he got killed the next day.
Yeah, he was riding with Dennis Cross, who
right. That's what it was.
Yeah, he was
right. 5'7".
He could have retired. He had such bad burns with feet. I mean, he was out of the firehouse for over a year. But he was a character. Jobs was his nickname.
Yeah, right.
Jobs, yeah.
He was a Rescue 2 guy. Was he Rescue 2 guy? Yeah,
147, then went over to 2. Yeah,
I remember when we were relocated there. I was telling the chief earlier that I was listening to the radio, and you just knew it was bad. A couple of guys were bad, and then people started piling into the firehouse in 332-175, and like hundreds of guys. And then the chiefs came, and then we found out that it was Blackmore. And I remember he was the boss, and I remember looking at his shoes that were on the apparatus floor where he jumped into his gear.
Yeah.
And it was just such a surreal feeling, like, holy shit, man, this guy ain't never coming back. Just, he went on a run, going to a job, excited as hell. And, like it always is, man, it gets serious fast. And that was real.
It becomes real. And I always said that about the shoes because I've been to fatal fires, but too many of them. And we come back and you see the shoes there going, man, this guy was just
jumping out. Just turning out.
He's not going to win. He's not coming back to his shoes. Kenny Pogan, he was a senior man in Squad 1, heavily into the job, and he used to always talk about that too. you know.
Yeah. All right. Let's we're gonna liven it up a little bit now. So you become you turn into a captain now, or where do you go?
Captain. This is a great story. I'm in rescue school 6 months, but my commitment's for a year. Donnie says you got a year, so I said no problem.
Another year. This is the second time.
No. This is I'm gonna stay. I become a captain while I'm in rescue school. I'm there 6 months.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I get promoted to captain. So
you're hopscotching. You're hopscotching.
Yeah. So you remember Chief Butler in the 14th division? He didn't like.
He didn't like White Sox either.
He didn't like me at anything, but whatever. I was always very.
Might be an Italian thing, Irish Italian maybe.
Well, anyway, he calls me up. I'm going to the 15th division, but I'm not going there. I'm only going there on paper. So Ronnie Boyce calls me. Me and Ronnie. Ronnie was a chief in a 4-4. He says,
"That's the eyeball guy."
Yeah. He says to me, "Freddie, are you going to the 15th?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to the 14th." I go, what do you want me to do?" He says, "If you let me go to the 15th, because you're not going there, you go to the 14th." I said, "Yeah, Ronnie, I'm not going. I'm staying in rescue school."
Oh, my God. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. So now the order comes out. I'm in the 14th. Chief Butler calls me the night I get promoted. He says, "Hey, Fred, welcome to the battalion." Now I've always had a history with this guy.
Oh, my God.
So he says to me, Monday morning, ladder 115, UFO.
Oh, my God.
I said, "Chief, I got to let you know.
I'm not going anywhere."
I go, "I'm detailed to the Rock." He goes, "Well, that detail squash." He goes, "You work in the 14th Division now." And he hung up the phone. I called Chief down. I said, "Chief, I'm going to 115 truck." He says, "No, you're not." He goes, "Don't worry, I'll take care of the whole thing." I said, "Should I show up there?" He goes, "You be in a rescue school on Monday morning."
Oh, my God. That's classic.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yep. So
and Boyce went to the 15th?
Boyce went to the 15th.
Dude, that's awesome. That's an awesome.
I don't know where he went as a captain. I think he covered.
So you did him a favor. So he was the debt.
I screwed up.
He was in your debt. He was in your debt.
He was in your debt, though, boys.
Let me tell you how much.
I once saw a video about this kind of debt, Kevin.
You did?
Yeah,
I did.
What did it look like, bro?
Well, I mean, you know,
You mean like they came in to ask him for a favor, is what you're saying?
You know, Chief, I have to tell you, we actually have a dramatic recreation or a dramatization for you of what it's like to come see you for a favor, if you don't mind. I mean, if you're cool with it. Okay, stand by, Chief. Here we go. I'm rolling it right now.
I'll give you anything you ask. We've known each other many years, but this is the first time you ever came to the council for help. I can't remember the last time that you invited me to your house for a cup of coffee.
Be my friend? Godfather?
Good.
Pretty accurate.
Accurate, but I'm humble. Pete, I got to tell you, the mob.
Yes, sir.
I grew up in like a mob-controlled neighborhood in Brooklyn. It's not so far from the fire department.
Yeah,
we are the mob.
You give me a favor, I do you a favor. Everybody does a favor.
We had special operations. We did a lot of favors, but we took a lot of things. We did a lot of things we weren't supposed to do, but we got the job done. But
Chief,
you know,
that's funny you say that, because I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that you say that, you remember Dom Corrine, right? From 290, right? Senior guy, 290. I thought he was firematically. I never met anybody like him. You know, he was a little over the top. You know, drink the Kool-Aid, the whole thing. Yeah, loved the job, loved the firehouse. So he's actually he had 25 years. He did there like dog years. So he had like 50 years on the job, right? And so he's working. I forget what he was doing. I think he was doing engine ops at the Rock. And I'm at the rescue school doing my penance now to come back into SOC.
Right.
And he comes into the office and he's like, "Hey, Lou, is there anything that you need me to do, you know, where I could get a couple of hours?" So I say, "You know what? Ask Rex Morris was the captain there." I says, "Talk to Rex. He could talk to the chief. And I'm sure we could get you something, you know." The next day, Rex comes in. He's like, "Louis, I talked to LaFemina." He's like, no good on Dom. He's like, I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, no good." I'm like, "All right." Dom comes into this to the rescue school. He's like, anything? I go, listen, I talked to Rex. He said he talked to LaFemina. He said no good, right? So Dom goes to me. He goes, maybe I should go talk to who the heck was the chief up there at the time? He was a 103 guy.
Yeah, Ron Mooney.
Mooney. He goes, yeah, should I go talk to Mooney? I go, listen, Dom, you know how this works around here. It's all who you know. Why don't you go talk to him, see if he could get you some overtime?
Right.
I'm like, okay. He leaves. So the next day, Brian Siegel is in the office, right? We were all in there at the time. He calls me up. I'm with my wife in like Walmart or something. And he's like, dude, LaFemina is pissed off at you, bro. You went behind his back. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything. He's like, you told him to go to Mooney? I'm like, I didn't tell him to do shit. So he's like, you better call him. I'm like, all right, I'll call him. So I called you. Do you remember this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I call you up and you're like, Louis, if you think you're going to go around my back, I'm like, Chief, hold on 1 second. I said, all I told Dom was he asked me if he should go talk to Mooney. I guess Mooney called you. Is that what happened?
Yeah, he tried to muscle me.
I like it. He muscled him. So he said to me, should I go talk to Mooney? I'm like, all I said to him was, you know how this works. Go talk to him and see if you could smooth it out. Maybe he could give you a couple hours before you retire. You know what I mean?
Funny, I didn't work with Dom. When I covered there, he was out on medical leave. I didn't see Dom the whole time. So Mooney calls me. He's like, Freddie, take this guy. He's a great guy. I go, well, if he's so great, why don't you keep him? What do you get?
I remember you said something like, but
I wasn't mad.
That's funny shit, man.
Business, all business.
But it is all business, right? It's all what how it works out.
Hey, listen, we used to get, you worked over in Sock Island. You get these guys coming from companies never did nothing for the job, and then they expected to get.
They want to get paid, right.
Great story. I'm glad I remembered the story. I come in. I'm the deputy now. Now I'm getting to work at like 3:30 in the morning because I want to get my stuff done. I'm working days. I get that workout. About 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I hear somebody knocking on the front door. So there's nobody on the watch there. I open the door. Guy comes in. Hey, how you doing? I'm new. It's my first day. I'm on light duty. I said, oh, you kid, welcome to the command. So I go in the kitchen. I put a pot of coffee on. I go, where do you work? Oh, 154 truck. I said, oh, Captain Fortunato. Yeah, this guy, that guy. He goes, I heard this place is great. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you get all the overtime you want. He goes, they do mutuals here. They don't pay them back. I go, they do? I
don't know who you are.
No, he says to me, he said, hey, you want relief? I go, no, I'm working today. So I came in early. I said, but you're assigned here? He goes, oh, yeah. Here's I got a light duty slip.
Oh, my God. That's
so now I leave guys start coming in. I go in, I take a shower. I get my uniform on. I come walking in. He looks up. He goes, you're kidding, right? This is I said, no. And guess what, bro? You don't work here anymore. I love it. He says, I'm assigned here. He goes, listen. I go, listen. You're going to take this paper back. I go right in the kitchen. I said, you're going to go see Lieutenant Hayes. Billy Hayes is the guy who runs a light duty desk.
That's classic, dude.
He already has a new job for you.
He already has a new job for you. That's classic. What the fuck is that? Oh, my God.
Thank you. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Nice, boys. Nice.
That's a great story, man. That guy must have been like, oh, my God, I screwed my whole career.
He thought we were kidding around. I go, no, I really am the chief here. That was a good one.
I really am the chief here, dickhead.
Yeah. So Louis, that's what would piss me off. Like I get a guy,
I understand.
A guy from whatever, just never did anything for the job, and then he wants to come in and load up on overtime. Well, I got senior guys that need to be taken care of, and my own guys in my command are more important than anybody else. So
when I was the delegate in 288, union delegate, you know how many guys at the union meetings I would hear motherfucking sock, sock, and then all of a sudden I would see one of these guys working a light duty detail in a sock, bro, working all the overtime. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That was always the case.
Kidding me?
And that's what always bothered me. Like, and they go, "Take this guy's a good guy. He's not a good guy. He's not our guy." You know, he's not my guy. He's not a good guy. So once I was able,
But fella.
oh,
Not
but
a-
if I was making the picks, if I'm making the picks,
Look at his face. Look at his face.
He's like, kind of true.
no, but I'm taking my guys who did things that, you know, that's for the job and for the command. This was a dedication of giving up family life. These guys in our command, they did it because they loved doing it. You know what I mean? They didn't do
Even before we got paid. Even before we got
Yeah,
the
right, exactly.
You guys
Just did
take
it.
the training for no money. Guys don't understand that. They don't understand how, you know, nothing could get done. Like the guy, I would have once in a while, a guy would say, Chief, you know, I'm calling the union on this. Something about, I go, you're calling the union from SOC? It's going to go two ways. The guy's going to answer the phone, goes, oh, you work in SOC? Hold on. He's going to start cracking up, laughing. Oh, there's a guy on SOC calling me up. He's complaining. I said, either that or he's going to hang up on you. I go, call all the union guys you want. They don't want to hear from us, you know.
Yeah, when we got to 12%, that was a you know, it was
Really
good and
something,
bad.
really.
Yeah. It was a good and bad. You know, it was a fucking, you know, guys, you know, going to jobs and shit. It kind of divided a little bit early.
Yeah.
But I think over time, it's a lot of work. It's not a little bit of work. It
Oh,
really isn't. It's a
Oh.
lot of work.
Training was incredible, right? I mean, how many
Going
hours?
all over them. You're going up for hazmat stuff. You're going to, you know,
That's
the guys in the
good.
rescue going for
Yeah,
scuba.
you're leaving your family for a week, 2
Weeks.
weeks at a time,
Weeks.
bro. Yeah.
Going out of town for some training. I mean, it's not easy, you know. And then throw the FEMA thing in. You know, now you got to get a FEMA deployment or whatever.
Or the SOC task force, all that shit.
Task
That was
force, right. That's, you know, but that was the dedication.
Garrett Linden grows. You guys got extra money?
Yeah. Well, he was on the TAO team.
Yeah.
You know what TAO was? TAO, take all overtime.
Listen, I got a question for Chief Lafemina first. So somebody, a little birdie, I don't know, brought this to my attention. They said that when you became the captain of Squad 270,
Right.
it was right after 9/11, right?
No, it was before 9/11.
I thought it was.
in 99.
So what does this guy feed me, man? I don't know. He's feeding me a bit. I'm gonna go with it anyway. Let me go with it.
Good.
So he says after 9/11, you were given the big, we're the only company left, you know,
Right.
untouched, blah blah blah, big rah story. And he said the next time he saw you, you were coming to pick up your stuff, and you told him, yeah, I just got the spot in Rescue 1. So
That's kind of how the story could go. But I was a captain there at 270. The commissioner at the time was Thomas Von Essen. At Joe Angelini's funeral, I was able to finally get some time to go to Joe's funeral. I had the ultimate respect for Joe. And John Norman comes over to me and says, pack your bags. I said, pack my bags for what? He says, you're going to Rescue 1. The commissioner wants that company rebuilt, and you're going to go there and rebuild it. So I said, I'll get back to you on that, Chief. And then I knew Von Essen. I called Tom, and I said, Tom, I'm on the Chief's list. I have a company, and, you know, this is where I should be. And he says, well, that's nice, but you're detailed to Rescue 1 as of Monday. So, and that was the end of that. So, but it worked out good.
You're killing my story now. You're killing the whole story.
No, it's a
So Richardson was only there for 1 year?
No. Richardson got promoted to chief in when did I get?
If you were there in 99, we started in 98.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got promoted to captain in 98, and I got there right before 9/11. About
all right. So yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that's
UFO.
All right. Yeah. So he was there a few years then, Richardson.
Yes, I
right.
was there 3 years. But no, I would have stayed. I love that company. I was going.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
This is another. Well, not a funny story, but.
Did Fish take that picture? That fat bastard.
Steve Capt.
Oh, another guy. Cats.
I thought I saw
guy,
some mustard
big
from a hot dog on the lens there. Maybe Fish was taking that one.
But I'll give you a quick story. When the spots came open for captain, Squad 1 was open and Squad 270. So everybody says, Freddie's going to Squad 1. And Downey called me. He said, Freddie, what do you want? So I said, I want to go to 270. And he's like, you want to go to Queens? I go, yeah, Chief. I go, they're going to fires. And he says, you sure? I said, yeah. He goes, all right, you're going to 270. And then Jimmy, what's his name, wound up in Jimmy Amato wound up in squad 1.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I like that guy. He was such a nice guy, right?
Oh, Jimmy was a sweetheart.
He really was a nice guy. I remember him
till he was a captain. He was.
I remember him covering. I remember him in the rescue school when we were doing all those classes. Him and Potello. I remember those guys when they were captains going through the process, right?
Yep. Yeah.
They used to call him Blinky. Remember?
Yes, he used to blink. Is he in 154 truck? Where was he, Kev?
He was, man.
He was, right? He used to blink all the time.
Yeah, he had this fucked up tick, like he was fucking, and the guys used to bust his balls. He was a good guy, though, man.
I liked him a lot. He was a sweet. He taught me a lot of stuff too, actually.
He was a 157 truck. He was a scientist. I'm a 248. We get a job at a narrow street. I'm trying to get down the block to get a hydrant. 157. They nose me in. So okay, we're gonna drop booster water, but it's a vacant 2-story frame. It's HUD sealed up. So we get to the top floor, and Amato comes running up, and we need him to force the door. He says to me, "Hey, Freddie, he blocked the truck out." I said, "Jim, it's a 2-story building. Do you ever hear of a portable ladder? You don't need a ladder here." And we started laughing, you know.
Was he blinking at the time? Like
he was blinking away, man.
He really was.
He was a good guy. His brother
he really
retired
was.
in Miami. Lee, he's retired now too.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, for 30 years, Lee. Yeah.
I didn't even know he had the spot in squad.
Yeah, he got the spot. Yep. Yeah, he was the captain there.
All right, so you're a battalion chief. When do you get promoted? Then do you get promoted to deputy, or you?
No. This is what happened. So now I'm in Rescue 1, and my job there is to rebuild the company. So I don't know if you know how it went. They took all the captains offline, and they kept the captains to deal with the families. So Squad 270, Squad 61, we hadn't lost anybody. So we came up with a plan. We're having a lot of meetings. They were going to run the 2 rescues. They were going to run Rescue 3, cover a certain amount of the city, and Rescue 270 was going to cover running the other part of the city. So Mike Penna, who was a senior lieutenant in Rescue 1, he knew all the widows and stuff. So I said, Mike, you go offline, you take care of that, and I'll work. And I wound up working. So I was the only captain in SOC working the chart, whatever chart we had at that time.
Uh-huh.
You know, before, remember we had the schedule, you had to go there for, a tour with the rig and then come back.
Yeah, right.
Well, before that, for like 3 weeks, that wasn't around. So, but I stayed there. So I stayed, and my job, my mission was to rebuild the company. And, I gave it a shot. But then in 2002, I got promoted to chief. So I wasn't there 9 months. That was the whole time I was there.
Yeah, you kind of moving quick there.
Yeah. So
would you have stayed there?
Would I have stayed there? Yes, I would have stayed there. But I knew there was like bigger things to get done. We lost all our chiefs on 9/11, except for Billy Siegel and Jack Spillane. So I knew there was a bigger mission. There was something bigger than just me being a captain of Rescue 1. I knew they were going to bring me right back. So, and they did. They brought me right back in the battalion. That's how short they were. So it kind of was a progression right to that spot.
Yeah, because then I remember that you were always in SOC. I mean, I just always remember you.
Oh, yeah, most of my career. I mean, I probably was the senior guy, except for Kevin Williams, because he was in SOC forever.
Yeah.
But I think he was only senior to me at one point. He was the only guy.
When did you get promoted to Rescue Battalion, to the chief? 2002.
I was assigned to the 8th Battalion, but I went right into the Rescue Battalion covering. I did 3 or 4 tours out there.
Who was there right in that time? Who was there, the chiefs there?
I took Jack Corcoran's spot. He gotten sick, so I went to his spot. It was Donnie Hay, Jack Spillane, Siegel was still there, but
Siegel, he was a Marine, right? He went
to
the Marine.
The Marine Division. They were like, Bill, because he was a Marine guy. They go, Bill, you got to go to the Marine Division.
Right.
In Rescue 1. That guy. Let me tell you about having bosses on the job, and the guy, he was one of the best bosses.
Is that right?
Oh,
that's
God.
great.
Really, he's a really nice guy, man.
His son too. I became very close with Brian too.
Great. Billy. I still see Billy. He's the best. He's the best. And Jay Fischler was there. So
right.
We see him at all the shows, Jay.
Yeah, we do. Dude, that guy. We got to get him on here because he's such a sweetheart. He's such
He
a
don't
great
wanna come
guy.
on. He doesn't like being in front of the camera.
I know he's such a great guy.
He's got a lot of great stories.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, every time I'm with him, he's telling me some story, and I'm like, "You got to come on!" Like, it's incredible. The guy's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. So, and don't forget, we were trying to rebuild, and then guys, things were happening. So there was a point there. Me and Donnie Haid were doing probably for about a month, 24 on, 24 off. Me and him. We're the only two chiefs at one point. So, and my cousin John came over. He was a chief. He was a captain, office captain in SOC. So he knew the system. So he came over to the battalion chief for about a year and a half.
So how long are you there as a battalion chief?
So now I'm battalion chief. Seelig comes over, Bill Seelig.
All right.
That's right. He takes over.
Patty McNally's the chief operations. He takes Seelig out of the 6th Division and puts him in there. Now, my first boss in 318 was Bill Seelig. He was a lieutenant. He had like 4 years on the job. He was a smart guy. So Bill's my boss. So he's coming over to SOC, and I know the routine. I'm working there for years, and I kind of like, me and Bill got close again and everything. And then when he was getting promoted to staff, he went to Casano and says, "You got to put Freddie in charge." He said, "It's a deputy spot." He said, "So promote him." So Casano said, "Yeah, okay, we'll do that." And then we got that done. But then I was only doing that job for about 7-8 months, and I had the heart problem.
I remember. They found your heart.
They found my heart.
You had a heart?
Let me tell you, I was an idiot. I was getting chest pains for 6 months and blowing it off. Man.
Really?
Yeah, that's why guys die. Yeah, because you get the pains, they go away. You're like, I'm all right. But I knew in the back of my head, I go, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, because that, you know what? Now that you say that, that happened very fast. Now, it's all kind of a blur now over time, but I do remember that happened very fast.
Yeah, it was quick. I went into the hospital. I drove myself. And when I got in there, Steve Kinnery was the chief in the 4-2. His wife was the head nurse. She says, "You have a big problem." And then when they did the surgery, I said to my wife, I'm fine. I said, "I just got a stent. It's like getting a film."
Right.
I'm not telling the job. She goes, "Why?" I go, "I'm not firing."
That's a fireman. That's definitely a fireman mentality.
I said, I work in the office right now. I don't have to do anything. I'll be back in a week. She's like, yeah, this is not happening. You're retiring. So that was the end of that.
Hank Mollet was saying Chief Siegel, he was a fireman in Rescue 1? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Fireman in Rescue 1 for many years. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's incredible, man.
Look at Hank. You guys got to work with Hank Mollet. Talk about superstars. Yeah. When SOC started, I used to get detail from Squad 1 to Rescue 1. Hank would spend the day with you as a young fireman. He'd teach you 10 things.
He was definitely the shit. I don't like to tell too many Hank stories because then it blows up his head, and then he's
but he's good. He was 18,
I talk to Hank maybe 3-4 times a week.
Oh, tell him I said hello, man.
Don't tell.
He's in the chat. He's in the chat. He just heard you, Chief. But we have a good question coming in from the chat, if you don't mind. Chief, what was the most stressful thing? Was it being in a burning building or commanding a huge fire? That's coming from James Pennington.
No, being in a fire building is the easy part.
That is the easy part.
When you're in, you have a very hard time being on the outside of being in command. And what happens is you're now responsible for all those people and how operations go. So it's a lot tougher from the outside of the building.
Yeah, man. I say this.
I would agree with that too.
The last year, I got to drive my brother as his aide. I tell people all the time, guys should have to drive the chief to see what it's looked like from the outside looking in. It gives you a whole different perspective of the fire, what these guys are responsible for, and what goes on from the outside looking in.
Right. You have no idea. I'll give an example. I'm a chief 3 days. We didn't go to the command course then. I was already chief 2 years before I went to the command course. I'm in the 11th Battalion, and I get a job right away, like 8 o'clock at night. And 22 truck, good truck. They're going to force the door on the first floor. It's a 3-story tenement. The OV tells me, got fire blowing out a rear window on the first floor. I don't think it's 30 seconds. I go into the hallway. I go to the truck. Are you going to force the door or what? So they stop. They turn around. They all three of them look at me, and I go, "I'll be outside. I'm sorry." It wasn't 30 seconds, but I'm in my mind going, what's going on?
I know, it's crazy, right? I mean, you go back to well, we were saying like before we started this, right? It's very difficult to be a chief because you want to do the right thing and you want to be close with the guys, but sometimes you have to make difficult decisions.
Absolutely.
And sometimes those difficult decisions nobody likes. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that's how it is.
Louis, you can't send out stuff. You can't say we're going to do this, this, and this, and be like a toothless tiger. Like,
wishy-washy. I understand.
It's the way it is. This is the way it is.
I got you, man.
And you guys, it's a very special division. It's not only just managing. You don't have to manage anything. You guys do the job, but sometimes you got to stroke an ego here.
Yeah. I got it.
And there's chiefs out there that don't know how to do that. They don't know. Like, these are your best guys. Like, you could. There's nobody else coming after that. So you know.
You know what's funny is every person is different, right? And you, as an officer, you start, especially as a chief, it's even more than me. But you start to realize what you have to do to get people motivated. Right. So I'm doing it for one company. You're doing it for a battalion of companies, and you come up with an idea, and you could hear the chatter going across, 12 companies. And then you got to put out little fires and make sure they understand what you're saying and what you're thinking.
Louis, I'll give you right before I got out, they were big with the chin straps. The chin straps.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I was the first probie class. We had chin straps on our helmets. Nobody ever wore them ever.
Never.
Right? I put out a memo, and I wrote on the memo, when young firemen come to fires and they see the rescue with the squad, they see those guys buttoned up, ready to go to work. So I said, you know what? I want to get this chin strap thing going. I think if you guys wear your chin strap,
guys will wear that chin strap.
Right. So I was like, I threw that out there. You had to hear the feedback.
Like you shit on a birthday cake or something.
Yeah. So me, I'm trying to be the leader. I show up. I'll never forget. Right before I was out, third alarm, Kilduff has the fire. I come up. I got my chin strap on. He goes, "Are you kidding me?" I go, "Why?" He goes, "What's with the chin strap?" I said, "I'm trying to do it." He goes, "Get that thing off," he said, So we laughed,
Let me ask you a question, Chief. So you're running all the SOC, right? So basically SOC kind of runs itself. Like the guys are motivated, the guys drill, the guys are top of the top. What kind of plans did you have to, I don't know, make SOC better, or if you're going to be there long term, what kind of things did you envision SOC doing that they weren't doing or that you wanted to implement?
I'll tell you what I wanted to do. I wanted to elevate. I wanted the companies all to be on an equal level. And I'll give an example. I went to a dive job one night, and I don't have enough divers, right? So I'm kind of upset. I go, why don't I have a dive? I got a special call, another rescue, and so one of my ideas was I wanted to train you guys, the squad guys. I wanted to give them dive training. They had tender training. Let's make them divers. Now we give them, another avenue to go. So when you get into a position like that, your job is to leave it better than you got it. Okay. So I was kind of in the rebuilding phase through the whole phase as a
guy. You were early right there, right?
Right. So I kind of think, I kind of think I'm happy with how things wound up. I really, was happy with because my focus was take care of the men will take care of everything else. But as far as envisioning stuff, additional training, additional monies, I had my own agenda, I had an agenda.
Chief, I was talking to Dave Winthrop. He was a Rescue 4 guy. And I used to see every once in a while, especially him, every time I went to a dive job, we would go to tender for those guys, and he would be going in. And it would be like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. into the inky abyss of the East River. And I would get there and he would have that look on his face. And I would just be like, dude, I'm glad it's you, and he would just jump in the wall, he would look right at me and I would be laughing because
I thought it was dangerous.
That's dangerous. He was telling me stories. I talked to him this week. He was telling me stories and Tobin and Al Francis. Those guys, you go down in there, you can't see a foot in front of you,
No window.
Screw that shit. Yeah, you can't get out nowhere.
it's a low frequency, high risk operation. I'll give you how dangerous it used to be before we kind of, after 9/11, had better training. I'm working at Rescue 2 one day on a day tour. We get a ripping third alarm in Bushwick, like 3 or 4 bottle job, get our heads beat in.
Nice.
On the we go 10-8. I get a jumper off the Williamsburg Bridge. Middle of winter. I got to put Billy Lake in the water now. 60 feet of water. The water's like 35 degrees. He's already taken a beating at a fire. And I'm like, and Billy's like, yeah, no problem. You know, he was that kind of guy. Yeah, I'll get in the water. Recovered the body, brings the body up. But I'm thinking to myself, is this like, this guy took all the smoke? Is this a safe operation? So I called the medical office. I talked to the doctors. They were like, we're really not sure. We'll get back to you. I never heard from him again. I mean, that's the way the job is.
Hey,
That's
Chief,
definitely the job.
we have a question coming in from the chat that they're really asking for. So Liam Noonan is asking, Chief, what's your opinion on the role of EMS rescue medics? Where do you see them in the future?
I actually had I was a big part of that process. How I see a rescue medic, I love the rescue medics. I think they're great, but to operate as rescue medics, not as operational rescue personnel. Okay, so we trained them. That was our idea. I wanted a rescue medic on our rigs. I wanted one of those guys with us. So when we got one of those tech rescue incidents, we didn't have to wait for a guy to come. We could put a guy in a hole or whatever it was. And they would be with us if one of our guys went down, because our guys were
That's a great idea, man. That's a really great idea.
That was one of my ideas, Kevin, as a lieutenant. We tried to move Rescue 4. We were in a bad spot on Queens Boulevard. We wanted 273's old quarters in Flushing. So I came up with a plan as a lieutenant saying, put EMS guys on our rig. We'll embrace that. We're going to get paramedics. And, of course, the unions couldn't agree on it. That was the problem. But I think rescue medics are great. But
I think there was always that fine line right there where they would get in the hole and do a little bit too much, or they would be in the way or something to that effect.
I wanted them when, okay, you want to run an IV on a guy? Okay,
Right.
you're a guy. We're going to lower you into the hole. But then I get the training. I get an invoice from Hazmat Operations on $17,000 worth of rope rescue gear. And I'm saying, where's this stuff coming from? So I call over there, and a very ambitious EMS captain, he wanted to put rope rescue equipment on the ambulance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was getting too crazy, right?
Two guys. This is two guys trying to do an operation that takes 2 companies. And I said to him, what's with all the rope stuff? Well, you guys aren't on the scene. We're going in. I go, no, you're not. So there's a fine line. Are they needed?
Yeah.
Yes. Operationally, yes.
And I think that's where it got sticky a few times. Right. I think it's gotten sticky on a couple of things with that.
Yeah,
but you definitely need them. You know, crush syndrome or any of those guys. You need those guys in the hole.
I don't need you making the entry.
Right, or setting up ropes or some shit like that. Right.
Exactly. But they definitely have their, I'm a big EMS guy. And don't forget, our command, a lot of our good guys were former EMS guys. So,
hey, Chief, Johnny 2 says hello. He's in the chat.
Oh, cool. I love John. I love him. I got a good John.
That's his,
well, that's what I want to hear.
I'll save it for another day.
No, come on. It's just a perfect time.
That's the second time he's telling me to say hello. He's pretty mad now.
I'm going to tell a story because John became one of my aces. And this is the way things work in special operations. And I told the story at an opening ceremony upstate. And I asked him first, John, I'm going to talk about this. Are you comfortable? He said, Chief, absolutely. So John goes out with a couple of guys, and they get into some altercation, whatever it is, and they have a problem with the job.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, so John calls me. I said, John, what happened? He goes, oh, it's nothing, Chief. Don't worry. I give him the whole story. I go, okay, John, I got it. So then I do a little research, and it's a little bit of a different story. But anyway, John's exonerated. But we kind of got a black eye from it. It was a guy in 61. It was a kind of not a good thing. I got some calls from headquarters. What's going on with you guys? Nothing I couldn't handle. I said, John, guess what? You're going to take a little break. You're going to go over to rescue school. He said, what? I said, you're going to rescue school.
I remember that.
He said, you're kidding. Why? I go, nothing happened. You'll see. I go, well, I don't care. You're going over there. There's a standard for the job, and there's a standard in command. And you didn't live up to that standard, so you're taking the time out. And John didn't. He said, "You got it, Chief." He went over there. He became one of our best instructors.
He became, he was actually making fun of me because I used to love, he used to call me all the time he used to do the rescue medics. He used to teach the rescue medic, right?
He was the main guy.
Yeah, that was like my favorite. These guys would be running around in the collapse, simulator or whatever it was. It was great.
He thanked me. He's like, but he took it. He embraced the negative. And I go, the guy's the best. He embraced the negative and made it a positive. Became one of our best instructors.
Does he still look like a walrus? John, you still look like a walrus? What are you doing?
He lives in Boiler Springs, South Carolina.
I know. He's supposed to come on. I texted him one time. He's wanted to come on, and then I never heard from him again. But he's in the chat room every week, so I don't understand what the hell he's doing.
Forget about it.
Hey, listen. He's my guy. When anarchy sets in the country, I got John's on my
I was just going to say, John's running around his pickup truck with a gun rack on the back, bro. That's what he's doing. He's
got like 5 doors. He's even got a girlfriend.
Oh, no, wait, John, he's doing something.
Whoa, what?
He's got a girlfriend. He's got a steady girl, John. Yeah.
He's in love?
Man.
Well, he did. I haven't asked him.
He's doing something in October. He's doing some teaching. He's teaching. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, he's coming to the Interschultz then. He's a buff. He's a big buff now. That's what happens.
Good, John.
Oh,
hey, Louis, you want to
Jin is on him.
You want to show that video from today that we were talking about? That Facebook video?
Yeah, we could talk. So, Chief, I was on line and people are sending me this thing. If I got one email, I got probably 20 of this guy in Alabama. Did you see this thing today? This poor bastard.
No.
So this guy, this job is ripping, and just watch this. I don't want to kill the guy right off the bat, but just watch this.
Here he is.
So there he is. He's getting geared up. There's a woman in that window right there.
Okay.
Watch this guy in the wife beater.
Civilian.
Civilian makes the grab.
So I mean, people are beating this guy up like incredible. I mean, I think that these people, these guys got these guys, these companies around the country got these guys like they're paralyzed. The guy's putting his face piece on like he can't breathe any. What are you doing?
He's not operating until he's 110%.
Right. That's what I'm. So he's in clean atmosphere or whatever the hell he's doing.
It can't work like that. No, I got
a different theory, bro. I got a different theory. He's actually playing touch football with her, and he threw the football to her, and he's counting Mississippi.
1 Mississippi.
He's waiting till he gets to 10 Mississippi, bro.
4 Mississippi. I watched that video like 10 times. I'm not kidding. It was sent to me 30 times today.
Well, you would think that guy would just turn around, go back to court, give all his gear back.
Now, again, that guy could have done everything right for 20 years, right? He's going to be remembered for doing the pirouette at the window, right? You know that guy who's just dicking around. He's checking his mask. He's checking his belt.
Or he could have been ducking his whole career. Who knows? We don't know.
He could have been. But come on, you got. You didn't have to do anything. There's no. I don't understand what's going on in the world.
That's.
I said I got to show you that one.
What did John A. Alpy say all the time? Build 1,000 bridges.
That's it.
One cock.
One ball bag, and you're a ball bag for the rest of your life.
That's it.
It's the truth.
Thing in a firehouse and forget it.
That poor bastard. He's going to be remembered. They got his name on the thing, I think, right? And
it's sad, But,
okay, so hold on, coming in hot. Sorry to interrupt, guys. Two comments in the chat. One was Pete. I heard that before this video was taken, he tried to grab her, but due to floor conditions, he couldn't originally make the grab. He put on his mask to go grab her, but then Paul Gillespie comes in and says, "Pete, can you post for the boys? Dude made 2 grabs from the house prior. Third ripped his mask off of him." So maybe that was the answer for you guys. I'm not all respect to the dude on the ground. He was boots on the ground. We didn't see anything prior, but
Chief, did you ever see yourself in that position, dicking around with? Right, that's what I'm saying. To me, you don't have to do much there. That's like the easiest grab you can make in your life.
You're right. You're outside. I always just say
it's not even a grab. It's really not even a grab.
I have a lot of respect for guys who make roof rope rescues. Very tech. It's the easiest rescue you'll ever make. You're in the
Ever.
outdoors.
It's not even a grab. The guy's at the window. The woman's at the window. You just flip her out. It's not even a grab.
Oh, it's a removal.
It's a removal.
That's a removal. You know?
Hey, Kev, you see this comment? Chief Steve says, cancer kills. Where is it? Hold on. I'm Chief Steve. I'm here to check your socks. If your OT is high, I'll send you to the rock. Mustache trimmed and tight to your face. Know who you're talking to. Don't step out of place, 'cause I'm Chief Steve.
Chief, I hope you've seen that before.
Yeah,
Because
I never saw that.
that's a lot to take in at one, if you've never seen it before.
Did you know that Chief LaFemina and Chief Steve whack a few back now at the Chiefs event, right?
What?
Once a year, bro. Oh, yeah.
What do you mean?
Like this.
Louis, we got the Chiefs Association. It's like a secret
The
society.
little Chiefs Association.
Smile? Does he smile when you see him?
We go away in Montauk every year, and me and Steve, once he starts pounding them, he's great.
He loosens
Dude,
up a
once
little
he
bit.
starts-
Up.
Oh, dude, the smile comes out.
Tony Bellisario said to say hello.
Oh, okay, Tony, another A-team guy, rebuilder. But what were we talking about? Oh, Cal. No,
Not a puppet.
So
Listen, dude, I like the guy who actually pulls him out. Not only does he have a wife beater on, he's got his pants down with the underwear hanging out, bro. Like, where's this?
Hank said it perfect. Hank said it perfect. If the guy had his gear ready, again, we don't know the whole story. We're looking at this video, but who's putting their face piece on outside to get somebody out the window? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. The guy looks like he's twisting around.
Louis, that's what you have to understand sometimes. And I've worked with guys in other departments all over the country. That's their SOP. That mask has to be on, operating, breathing.
Right.
How about you ever see I saw a guy one time in our job. The vibra alert goes off. I'm a chief now. I'm kind of in the hallway. Hey, we are out of here. Go out of here. Where? The fire? Oh, it's right in front of you.
Nobody wants to touch. Like they cannot breathe any smoke. Like it's.
Yeah, go to vibra alert. Don't worry about it. You have enough time to put the fire out. Keep going.
Yeah, nobody breathes any smoke.
Yeah.
Or they can need to fire wipe like immediately after they leave the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Forget about it, bro.
Listen, I understand. I get it. I'm not saying I don't want to get cancer. I don't want to get cancer. I got it.
That's right.
But you have to do it. You have to breathe it. You're a fireman.
When you took this job,
Correct.
It's dangerous. You can get killed. You can get cancer. This is what you're exposed to. But you still took the job.
You cannot be in every situation where you are totally encapsulated, where you're not going to be exposed. At a situation where there's a woman at the window and you're doing the pirouette at the window. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the scenario is. It don't look good.
No,
Just
if you want,
jump in the window and grab her if you can't get her out. That's
Louis,
it.
the overwhelming consensus in the chat is that he made some grabs, and then on the last one, when he tried to grab her, she had ripped his mask off, and that's why he was fumbling with it.
You're outside. You don't need a mask.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just letting you know what they're saying in the chat. Overwhelming consensus is that the video is out of context.
All right.
Yeah, but
Good
you
for
What
the
do
guy.
we know? I don't know.
Good for the guy.
You're
Videos
ruining
are
my
bad. I
story,
say it all
Pete.
the time. Videos are bad anyway.
hey, listen.
It is what it is.
I'm not going to judge him. He's got to live with himself.
That's it. He's got to live with himself. And he
He
knows
what he did.
that's funny, Chief, because in the end, you know what you did. That's it, right? Only you could live. You could say when you were in the back bedroom by yourself in the dark, you know what you could say that you could live with. You could come out and tell anybody anything, but you know what you did.
Louis, how many times have you done heroic things? They're heroic. They
Nothing. Got nothing for it.
No, and then you come back and go, I could have done something better, man.
Yeah. Right.
Why did I do that? I should have did this, or I didn't make the move. But
I went left and I went right. I could have went right.
you were getting your head beat in, but you weren't getting your head beat in enough. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's a different.
It is, and that's what we talk about. Every week. And I'm not saying you have to do it the way we did it or the way you did it. You were before us.
Oh no!
But there's got to be some balance between wiping yourself down with a wipe and not taking any risk.
Right.
At all.
No.
You know what I mean? There's risk in this job.
The job, but again, the traditions of the department, not the department, the fire service,
The service
are changing. You know,
Right.
I like to complain to my father, Dad, they're doing this. He goes, don't worry, the fireman will figure it out. He goes, don't worry, they'll take care of it. After he saw some things go on with our job in the last couple of years, my father's 92 years old. About 2 years ago.
Holy shit, you got good genes, man.
He goes, it's over. He goes, the FDNY is over. He goes, they dealing with, he goes, that goes on in the firehouse? I go, yeah, Dad, it does. He goes, you know, I never heard him say that. He used to always go, don't worry. Whatever your problem is, give it to the fireman. They'll figure it out.
John two in the go ahead.
John Esposito says, great show, fellas. Say hello to Freddie.
John's the best. He got promoted today. John got promoted.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Got his third star.
Holy
John 2 in the chat says, same with me and McFadden's. The video was out of context. So I'm sure there's a story behind that.
I love it.
Espo's watching this. I don't know if that's good.
Yeah, Espo got his third star today. Frank Lee got promoted to staff.
Oh, shit.
Way.
The Leaves, man. Dude, that guy's moving. He's a mover and shaker. What about Corrado? They fucking passed Corrado up again? What's that poor bastard?
I don't know what happened with Nicky. He must turn them down. I think Nicky turns them down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because George...
Either that or he's just crazy.
No. I think they turned him. He's the third division. No, he's not the commander. He should be the commander.
No, he's not the commander.
But...
he told me the commander watches this show, though.
Well, that's little Joe, man. From Tree. He was a Tree.
What's his last name?
Joe, I'll tell you his name in a minute. I actually got on the spot, commander. Believe it or not.
He loves the show. We sent him some shirts, actually.
Oh, Joe, I'm embarrassed. I can't remember.
That's all right. Take your time. We're all old.
No, I'm never going to get
it.
I'm never going to get it. Oh shit!
So 21 Truck Tillerman, one of our very loyal audience members here, is asking another great question as always. Hey Pete, ask Freddie his take on politics versus firefighting. And I think, you know, being a chief, you would probably have a good disposition and understanding of both, right?
Yeah, you have to understand, you know, what's going on and how to deal with it and balance it. You know, you're dealing with the unions, you're dealing with
Carlson.
Joey Carlson. Sorry. So things that are going through the job, changes, and you have to deal with it. Hey, listen, the females who were senior to me on the job at the time, I had no problem with them because they were senior to me. I was kind of, I think, a pioneer. I brought our first lieutenant in, our first female lieutenant, Adrienne Walsh, who's now Lieutenant Rescue 1.
Rescue 1. Mm-hmm. She was in 18 first.
She did everything. She did everything everybody else did to get to the position she's in on her own. So, you know, it's just the way it is.
Chief, we say it all the time. Nobody cares. As long as, I don't care what color you are, what gender you are, I don't care if you're an it. I don't care what you describe yourself as long as when I go down the basement, you're behind me. That's it. I don't care. That's it. It's always the truth.
It's the way it goes.
The problem comes when you're not doing that.
Right.
That's when the problem comes, and that's when guys get pissed off. And it doesn't matter what color you are, black, white, green, red. It doesn't matter. It's the job. Do the job, and that's it.
And try to keep the traditions in place. Like I always talk, I'm a big senior man. Ray Seeley was my senior man in Squad 270. As a captain, you have to embrace your senior man. He's your disciplinarian.
Correct.
So I would say, great, so-and-so, you know.
Take care of this.
I got a Cap. I'll take care of it.
That's it. You need a good senior man to take care. And I think that's part of the problem, maybe a little bit.
Today.
Yes, I think that's a little bit of the issue. Because if Hank would have said, the captain wants you to get to China next week, start digging right here.
Exactly.
We'll be halfway there by tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's it. You know, he was the guy.
Hey, when I worked in Squad 1, the junior man got the detail. If there was a detail, the junior man went. 6 months, I got detailed. Any detail, I got it. And that's the way it was. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Kev, is it about that time?
Oh, is it that time? Chief, are you ready?
I'm ready.
He don't look ready.
Chief, you know what time it is, Chief? Here it is.
Hey.
It's time for the old school tip of the day with Chief LaFemina.
Okay. Old school tip of the day. I'm going command level here.
All right.
every fire I went to where there was a problem or something got jammed up was the stairway. Everybody on the stairway, the conga line up, everybody trying to get into the fire, not giving the engine a chance to get in there, not giving guys a chance to get out if they have to get out. So my big pet peeve when I became a chief was crowding the stairs. I didn't like it. So what I would do, I'd pull up the fires, either buffing or assigned, and I get in there and I tell the guys, because they don't listen to company officers. If you're not my officer, you tell me to get off the stairs, I'm kind of going to blow you off. That's just the way it was. So having control of the stairs is my pet peeve. You need control of that stairway to advance the line, to enable an escape route in case there's a problem. And that would be my tip of the day.
I think that's.
I like it.
I would say that I cannot tell you how many times. One, I probably caused some of that being the squad, and two, being in an area where I wanted to get out.
Right.
You know, when you say that, and you know things are lighting up, and you're too far ahead of the line, and now you can't get out, right? Because everybody's lined up.
Portable. What about a portable, bro? How many people?
They don't know. They don't know you're on the inside, jamming up the stairs. You know, I got to get in now. I'm second dude. Yeah, well, the first dude hasn't got into the fire department, so you're not going above anyway. So let them do their thing. So, and the problem is manpower. We're manpower intensive.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Stairway problems, stairs jamming upstairs don't happen in other places.
We talk about that a lot where we kill. Right? Can you imagine like a fire room, just a fire room? How many guys you can get in a fire room in Brooklyn?
Right, you wouldn't believe it. Right.
Yeah.
You can't believe how many guys you could get in that in a 20 by 10 room. Right. Like it's incredible.
Intensive. We just start.
We kill it with manpower. Right? It's incredible.
We show up. So
we show up. It's
that's
exactly.
Yeah. And actually, I pull up the jobs and I tell the chief outside, I'll go in, I'll handle the stairs. And I tell guys, you're not going up. What do you mean I'm not going up? You're not going up till they tell me they need somebody else up there. Rescue squad, no matter how it is.
Viv,
stay here till they need you.
Yeah, Viv. I used to say it all the time. Viv from Squad 1. I used to say it all the time. How many guys can you fit in a fire building? You know, when the squad shows up, at least six more.
At least 6 more. But the fire's not going out unless we're there.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. You know, but I mean, early on, I remember like guys were, you know, boxing people out. I don't think those.
I saw fist fights on the fire.
Yeah.
I probably saw 6 or 7. You know.
Yeah, Squad 1 and Rescue 2 probably dealt with that a lot.
Going back to Squad 1, Chief, how was it? You know, getting into Fire's Den? Were they trying to block you out?
We had the trust of the chiefs, and that was most important. So they would give you. There were chiefs that didn't like you. But we made them, whatever they gave us, if we pulled up and they really need us in somewhere special, but they turn around and say, we need a 3.5 inch to the tower ladder. Our bosses said, you go get that 3.5.
Do it. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it.
Gain the trust of the chiefs.
Absolutely.
They loved us because they know we put a fire out. Like they know,
right?
Hey, it's not getting done. So the busy areas, did they need us? No, usually on a multiple level. But there was areas of the borough where they depended on you. I'm going to give you a great story. Norman Whalen was a chief in the 3-3. We get a fire. It's already second alarm. We're not in. It's way down south. It's a supermarket, fire in the basement. Sonny Cataldo's the officer. I love Sonny. He was one of the best fire officers I ever worked with.
Sonny Black or Sonny Red?
Sonny.
The gang that couldn't shoot straight. The gang that couldn't shoot straight.
Sonny Black.
Sonny Black. All right.
Anyway, well, he was a character. He was a captain of 131 truck, so he worked in the squad as a captain. We knew him. He was a flaky guy, but a good fire officer.
What was his last name?
Whalen. Norman Whalen. Anyway, so we're in the 3-3. We get up. We go to the chief. Got a cellar fire ripping. Everybody's outside. Whalen says to Sonny, goes, Sonny, you got a fire in the cellar? It's too dangerous for these guys. You think you can go down there?
I like it. I like it.
Did he just say that this is too dangerous? Yeah, he did, Lou. He goes, okay, let's
go. That's it.
And we took the line and went down and put the fire out, like, you know, business as usual. And nobody. It was shitty. It was a shitty stunt.
Yeah.
You know what, Chief? That's funny you say that because I used to tell the guys, you know, like there's going to be jobs where we're not really needed, and the chief's going to ask us to do some mundane shit, right?
Right.
And exactly what you said, you do it because what's going to happen inevitably, it's going to happen, where he's going to have that holy shit, this thing's going in the toilet, and who's he going to depend on? The rescue and the squad. That's it. Yeah. Every time
he knows you'll do it. You did before,
and that's what we always. I have to say, we really always did that because we knew that it was going to come back tenfold.
Absolutely, Steve.
The
chief. It was the chief in the 4-6 whose father was the head of the Vulcans.
Turner.
No. Turner. Yeah. Turner. So one day we go to a job, right, in an H-type.
He loved us. That guy loved us.
He was good.
We get up to the
He was a great guy. Great gentleman. I mean, a gentleman.
And I'm not even saying what engines in there. They're banging around. Right. They come fumbling out, and the officer's got his camera, his helmet's on sideways. He grabs the guy, says, "You over here." He's the squad. Go in there and put the fire out right
now. He was a great guy. He loved us. He loved us.
You're the ace in the hole because nobody else is coming after you.
Right. I mean, even Corrado says it, as much as I think he gets a little bit of a beating in Manhattan over some stuff, but he tells me all the time that when it comes down to it, he's going to the rescue in the squad. He knows that those guys, if it gets to the point where he's out of cards and he needs an ace.
Nobody else is coming.
Nobody else is coming. Those are the guys.
You're at the end of your rope.
That's it. He got to depend on those guys, and so you got to do the little bullshit things on the bullshit things to make sure when the time comes that you take care of business.
I used to get it from the chiefs. Danny Mealy, he was the chief in the 2-8. He calls me up one day. He goes, "Oh, we got a problem." I said, "What?" He goes, 252. They had a fire going, fire and exposure.
Right.
Stretch the line to the fire building, and the other two guys stretch the line to the exposure. What am I supposed to do? I go, "How about a unit citation?" I'm serious. You're calling me, telling me my guys, they put 2 lines in operation. I go, and you're calling them, "Oh, look, second door." I go, "What are you kidding me?"
Yeah. I mean,
right. I know.
Listen, that was the game. I mean, again, there was a lot of bullshit that you had to do, but
stuff. Right.
You knew when you pulled up. I knew when I pulled up, and what happens is the longer I was there, it was good because I knew all the chiefs and I could show up right, and they would be like, "Hey, Louis, man, this is going bad. Check out 2 or check out the second floor," and we would get the top, depending on when we got in the rest.
I used to teach the Chiefs Command course, the special ops. We had a 3-day special ops for them. I tell them, "Listen, these guys are very experienced. Me as a lieutenant, the captain as a chief. I still ask the guys, firemen, what do you think about this?" I'll never forget him in Rescue 4, Dan Hedlund, God rest his soul.
Yeah. Good guy.
Fire on a roof, the tar on the roof. They got a big tar pot up there. I get up there, the thing's roaring, the roof's roaring. We knock down the roof. Now the tar pot's going. Hedlund says, "You know how you get this out? You got to add." They had these 50-pound blocks of tar, but it's adding fuel to the fire, but it cools down the tar pot. He goes, "Hey, you have any ideas?" I go, "Yeah, Chief. You see those blocks of tar? We'll throw about 3 or 4 of them." He goes, "That stuff is fuel." I go, "I'm telling you, it's going to work." Threw the blocks in there.
That's old school right there, right?
Dan Hedlund. I go, "Dan, that was great." He goes, "Yeah, I used to work with these things,
Yeah, it's funny. We used to get those tar pots every once in a while, right? You used to get those tar pots. Guys used to try and throw water in there or whatever. It was a fucking mess.
But then they started doing what they call brie roofing. They put rubber roll roofing out, and then they use a torch to seal it. And that was always good for like 3 or 4 multiples a year in Queens. They'd light the cockloft on fire.
I see Mark Janutz from 270. Yes, I see him. He's in the squad. He's in the chat room.
He should have been a fireman in Rescue 1. He was slated to go there, and it didn't work out. I think it was like in a transition with me and Morris, but I was taking him in Rescue 1. He wound up in 270.
Yeah, he was. I worked with him a lot in the task force. I think he's down south now. I think he's in.
Yeah, he moved.
South Carolina or North Carolina somewhere.
Somewhere. Good man.
Janutz.
Close to Triple T. Triple T's down in
she's in South Carolina. Ocean City. Ocean City.
He was another guy, star. I mean, I knew Anthony because he was in 270, the fireman. He used to get detailed to Rescue 4. So he was like, he kind of reminded me of myself. When
I love Tony, man.
I always thought he'd be a part of the command his whole career, you know.
Yeah, I was surprised. You know, when he retired,
I was surprised.
well, you know what's funny was I was telling him, like, I was getting pretty close, and I always thought, you know, he was running the task force, him and Smithwick, and I was like, you know, he's going to be here forever. And he called me up out of the blue, and he's like, listen, just you know, don't be mad or anything, but I'm retiring. Yeah. I'm like, what? Because he had just come back from Texas, and he had the hours,
right?
And you know, I think he was with his girl.
Yeah, and he did the right thing for Anthony.
Yeah.
He did.
He found out. He rented a house, if I remember right, the story, right, Kev? He rented a house in Ocean City forever, and the house came available to buy. Yeah, and he hired, bought a house in Ocean City, and moved all within like a couple of months. Like, you know,
he retired in less than the 60 days. He had
right. He jumped out like November, right?
Now I gave him.
You know, Mike Davis is in the chat room. He's saying, "Say hello."
Mike,
what? Come on, we were just talking about that guy. Holy shit!
Let me tell you something about Mike Davis. There's nothing Mike Davis can't do. Nothing. I'm talking about firefighting, technical rescue, computers, finance. Mike does it all. He makes great coffee. He was the best.
You know what? I have to say this before.
He can't dunk a basketball. I can tell you
that. All right.
I have to say, like, I was every once in a while. I mean, I get these emails and guys texting me. It's important to us, to Kevin and I, that, you know, guys from the job are watching this and they like it, and it's kind of fun, and it's part of the kitchen. Because for me, I've only retired in October, so this is like I haven't left.
Well, this is your line.
Yeah. It really is. It's such a tight line, and the fact that guys are emailing me and texting me that they enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun, is important to us, because we wouldn't do this if we weren't learning anything, you know, for guys around the country, and you know, to be able to talk to guys from the job and keep it going.
Absolutely.
It's important to us. You know, that's the most important thing, really.
And Louis, it's important to guys like me. I'm out 10 years already. That's how fast it goes. And like,
holy shit.
And you start losing your connections, and you go, what's going on? So when you were doing the firehouse stuff with this was a firehouse.
Oh, the spotlight's on. Those are great. I love that. I love it. I
started watching the show.
The history. I love it.
Yeah. Like, you know, I watched the whole thing with Dennis Gordon, another stud. You know, it's funny. Like, about how
he's great.
How to job. I did. Dennis was a lieutenant in 120 forever. I did Dennis's vacation.
Is that right? Yeah.
Twice, when I was a covering lieutenant. Yeah, you know. But what
I mean, all the guys that we've had on, like in the last couple of weeks, I mean, it's just, you know, guys are reaching out to us. You know, we had talked, me and Kevin and I, we had said, listen, we see that you are, you know, you were emailing us saying, hey man, you guys are doing a great job. I'm like, we got to get LaFemina on here, see if he would do it, you know, and it was perfect.
Yeah, I was talking to the chief though, and what he was saying is what we're going to start doing. He's got a lot of connections on the West Coast.
Exactly.
We're going to start getting some guys from the West Coast to get a little different flavor in here. It's not all strictly FDNY guys. No. We'll get some hard charges from out there, and the show.
Kevin, it's important because you know you guys are going to try to reach. You want to reach nationally, you want to reach globally, which you are getting global. Like my two buddies are on in London, and they're telling their friends and this guy, And I was always that guy. I'd go to these FEMA meetings. Chief Downey had brought me in and, you know, kind of, you know, molded me into that area. And I'd go to these guys. These guys can't shine my shoes, you know.
I used to say that all the time.
Hey, where you from? Where you guys from?
Where you from? How many fires you been at?
How many fires? When's the last time I went to a fire? But I learned.
When's the last time you put your face piece on, guy?
And not only to be politically correct, I learned a lot from these guys. I really did. There's some good leaders out there. There's some good guys.
No doubt. It's not all about. I mean, who was saying it? I don't know if not Everett. It was. I think it was Dennis. You know, we're in our little cocoon, right? FDNY. That's it, right? You know, we think we're the best, and that's it. Right. But there are guys out there doing a lot of work. You know, I get a a lot of pictures and stuff, and guys,
I used to do FDIC, the rope stuff with Mike.
yeah.
Mike Nugent's he's the special ops chief in Broward County. It's like Fort Lauderdale. This guy was one of the most talented guys I ever worked with, like on the side. But I used to go to Mike. I go, because he's kind of like, rough and tumble. I go, Mike, you'd be the perfect fireman in Rescue 3. Like, he'd be like the perfect Rescue 3 fireman, And he's a guy who could work there, And Timmy Gleason, another guy down in Miami. Timmy's another guy, rough and tumble guy. He's one of our guys. So I learned meeting all these people that, there's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of good information. And it allows you guys are running a business here. Yeah, we got the fire service. We love it. You guys are running a business. And your goal and your business plan is to expand your business, make it better, and to, have more participation.
You gotta get me Haid. He won't. I don't know if he's coming. Yeah, I don't know if he wants to come on. I don't know what's going on with the guy. Kevin, he's floundering. I don't know what he's doing over there.
I'll get you Haid.
All right. Who we got next week?
Who?
Warren Fuchs.
Warren. Oh, bro,
can you believe that?
Get the boxing gloves out, bro. Get the gloves out. He's gonna be he's the best.
I called him this week. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the voice. It's the voice.
There will be no punches pulled, no filthy. He will give it to you like it is. I worked with Warren. He is a no nonsense.
Yeah, no, I love talking to him. I've talked to him a few times in the last 2 weeks. He's classic.
He's going to be.
I got after him, John Calamari.
Another stud, man. We're getting a good one.
Yeah, we got a couple of good guys lined up the next couple of weeks.
Hey, West Coast, baby.
Who?
I don't know who you got for me on the West Coast.
I'm going to give you the Glenn Harris of the West Coast, who's a battalion chief, Larry Capt. And not only Larry's still involved, and Larry's got a whole thing. He's a maniac. He's like Buff's Job, the whole 9 yards. But he's married to an actress out there, a pretty famous actress. She was on a couple of sitcoms or whatever. But
is she hot?
Very.
She wear a thong. Coobs don't want to talk to anybody if they don't have a thong on.
You got to talk to Dave Downey. Dave Downey's the chief of department down in Miami-Dade. Another guy.
Do some work.
All right, so that's good. So you're gonna get us a couple of guys out there.
Donnie Kuhn, Memphis, Tennessee. Another guy, rough and tumble guy. Talk to you. A lot of stuff.
Now we're gonna owe you a favor. You get us the
favor. We're gonna make it
a favor.
Hey, you made me look good my whole career. I owe you guys a favor.
Chief, let me ask you a question. I was
How
thinking
do I
about
get paid for this anyway.
You gotta put in a 50. What was it? A 503C? What was that? Fucking blow my head.
You know what?
When I was at the rescue school, Louis, you gotta make out the 503C. I'm like, holy.
T-shirt to wind up on your doorstep next week.
And stickers, tons of stickers.
Hey, Chief, who was your favorite guy? Who was your favorite guy
in the job?
Yeah, like chief, like guys that you met with the chiefs or firemen. Like who do you really, even now today? Who are you calling tomorrow?
Other than me, not me. Other than
Haid?
Haid for sure, but Ray Downey. I mean, it was
you guys were close.
But it was he taught me everything. He taught me how to be a leader. Like he just taught me. I watched him as a captain, and
I see videos of that guy. It's incredible.
I try to emulate a lot of him. I couldn't shine Chief Downey's shoes, but I mean, Vinny Dunn, Jack Corcoran,
Corcoran, right? Yeah.
Come on, I couldn't.
These names keep popping up to that was a little bit before my time, but I hear these names over and over. I mean,
Corcoran was a great guy. I used to see him because I have an ATM business on the side, so I used to go to one bar by 136, and he would be sitting at the bar every day, and we would just
the grandstand.
The grandstand. Yeah. And I would talk to him. I couldn't get out of it. I'd go in there and do a 5-minute work, and I'd be in there.
I love that shit. I love it.
His father, he's from Elmhurst. He lived on Gorsline Street. His father owned 10 bars in that area. His father was his bar owner, in the 40s and 50s. And remember the DA in Queens, Brown, the little fat guy, he just retired. He was like 80-something, downtown Brown. Was his best man at his wedding. They grew up together.
Really?
He was very connected, Jack Corcoran. Yeah.
Very great guy, but a humble guy. And
Humble, great. I'll never forget. We ran up Mark McKay, God rest his soul. He died 9/11 cancer. He was a fireman in 4 and a lieutenant in 45 truck. Ralph Williams is driving. There was a big curve in Queens Boulevard when you backed up the rig. Mark's sitting on the back step of the rig.
Is that the guy with the legs?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I remember that story.
So Corcoran's working. He's at the hospital. I come in to relieve him. Carruthers is the chief.
So hold on, Chief. Tell that story. So he's sitting on the back of the rescue rig with his legs hanging.
His legs are dangling, but they're 6 or 7 inches above the street.
The crown of the street. As he starts to get towards the rig.
Gets to the apron, boom. What happened was he didn't break his leg. Both his ankles blew out. They dislocated, but he couldn't walk.
I remember that.
But anyway, I come in and they're at the hospital and the phone rings. It's Carruthers, and he's like, "Hey Lou, where's the captain?" I go, "They're at the hospital." He goes, "I want to report forthwith on why this and this and this safety." I go, "I got it for you, Chief." Corcoran comes back. I go, "Carruthers called." He goes, "What does he want?" I said, "He wants a report." He types up, I swear to God, in like 30 seconds, backing up the rig, safety for the civilian, blah, blah, blah. That's it. He gives it to me. He goes, "Here, fax it." I go, "You're sending this to the chief of the department?" He goes, "That's it. Send it, Freddie." Send it right through. I mean, that's the kind of guy he was.
Hold on. It's Mike Stalling. It was a FS 250. That's what the
FS 250, yeah.
fucking form. I hated that form. Holy Christ.
Yeah, paperwork. We weren't big on it. I'll give you another good story.
Oh my God.
I get a collapse in 4. About change of tours. I'm working night to day. 6 a.m. we get a collapse. We're there till like 10 o'clock in the morning, digging the body out. I'm dirty. I'm filthy. We get back. We're running around. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Chief Myers comes in. Mike Myers' father.
Oh my God, really?
Queensboro Commander. Queensboro Commander.
I didn't know that.
Comes in. They don't even tell me. He walks into the kitchen. I go, "Chief, what's up?" He goes, "Fred, I got to talk to you." I come out. He goes, "You know, you didn't write a roll call?" And he's looking at me. He's all dirty.
I never wrote a roll call.
No, but he says, he looks at me, he goes, "Hey, what happened?" I go, "I was at the collide." He goes, "Hey, listen, I'm going to come back and see you on a better day. Have a good day." I go, "What's the last guy?"
Are you kidding me?
This guy.
Well, I'm just saying the roll call. That was like his main thing.
Yeah, but 3 stars. No. He wasn't taking it. He goes, "You really must have been busy that you couldn't even let it go for." He wasn't angry with me for it, but I was just impressed that a guy with 3 stars who understood, like he understood.
Yeah.
Didn't have time to do it.
Both his kids are chiefs now, I think.
Yeah, they are. Mike's the staff chief, and his brother.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
He was a fireman in 4, Mike.
Really?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
got promoted to lieutenant out of 4.
Yeah, I came on with his younger brother. I was in probation
he's
with his younger brother,
nice.
who's a chief now.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Brian? I think Brian.
I don't remember what his first name is.
He's Brian.
I went to chauffeur school with him too.
Oh, you did?
Me, Matt Neary, and him.
Oh boy, that must have been.
I'm trying to get him to take me fishing.
I talk to him all the time.
He's catching a lot of fish. I think the stripers are hitting right now.
The other day I saw he threw it back though. I would have cooked it, but he threw it back.
Yeah, he's got a boat.
I saw. Wait a minute. I saw you sliced up some stripers the other day.
My good friend goes out every day. I made it for everybody yesterday or the day before. They were like, "It's delicious." I sliced it up nice.
I'm waiting for Winthrop. Winthrop was supposed to take me out. He said something. Give me a call. I called him. He didn't even mention anything about fishing. That's
right now. They're getting them every day.
Yeah.
The season's going to end. The end of the month, they close them up.
I got to put the cap on tight here. I can't take anymore. That's it. I'm done.
I got 3 drinks down. I'm done. 2
hours. My
82-year-old
mother watches this and she goes, "Ah, you're drinking too much of it. No."
She does.
The virus too. We're on the lockdown.
I'm drinking every day, Chief. Every day I'm drinking. I'm bad. It's bad.
It is.
Oh, all right, man. We got to wrap this bad boy up. Great show.
Yeah?
Man. Awesome.
Is that time already?
Chief, it goes fast, man. I'm telling you. I told you, it goes fast.
We'll have you on again.
Quick story. Guys are going to me, "You should be lecturing on everything." I go, "No, I shouldn't be lecturing. I don't do it every day. I shouldn't be talking about stuff I don't do." They go, "No, all your experience." I go, "What? Sit around the firehouse kitchen and tell stories? You want to give me $4,000?"
You
That's,
got off easy. We're sending her a pack of t-shirts, bro. $4,000.
I'm cheap. I'm cheap.
No doubt.
All right,
All
Pete,
right, guys.
take us out, kid. Chief,
Well,
thanks. Awesome time. Great show, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Oh, man.
Well,
Thanks.
firstly, let's tell them what's coming
I
up.
missed the mustache first time. I definitely missed the mustache.
Yeah, I was not prepared for that. I grew the mustache for him, and then he shows up with no mustache.
Do me a favor, shave it. All right, I'm tired of hearing it. Shave it already. Get it off.
You're
My
not
vagina
supposed to. I heard you're not supposed to have a mustache or a beard. You know,
If
in
your
this
vagina
thing-
hurts.
in this thing of ours. You know,
Unless
Oh,
you're a cheater, then you could have.
you're not. This is not.
nice.
You know what? Somebody asked on here if you ever wore a cheetah. I don't know if you
You
saw
wore it all the way
that.
up until captain. And
Oh, allegedly.
Allegedly, well, I don't even know what a cheater is.
I still have one.
So,
So do I.
so guys, we
All right,
have.
take us out, Petey.
For the audience, before we get through the usual stuff, Monday is a very special Memorial Day. Tell them why, Kev.
Hello,
He's
Kev,
frozen.
your brother.
I'm frozen. Oh shit! Right,
Holy
bro. We will
Christ,
not be
the guy
doing
can't
a
remember
Q&A.
shit.
But, dude, you know how many Tito's I've had while listening to the chief? Are you kidding me?
Ah,
I'm gonna stagger up the stairs. You freaking absolute, my man. We got a special Monday night for you guys. It's the debut
Because of the holiday.
of the real this guy right here, bro. The real guy out and about in New York City. Monday night. Catch it. Make sure you're
Boom.
on.
So
Check it out.
it's
Catch it out
it's
Monday night.
gone. It's gone, but not forgotten. It's the firehouses that are in the city that are no longer New York City firehouses, but they're
Old,
whatever they are,
buildings.
1800, late 1800s, early
Out of
1900s.
history. Right. We
We
even
did-
got him to smile a little bit.
He
had a little
smiled,
crack and
which
smile a
was
little bit.
incredible.
hey,
Uh,
Chief
that'll
Steve
be
was
Monday
great on
night.
camera. That guy
He
was
really
tip
was.
top pro.
What?
I mean, like he was a one take wonder. I mean, that was incredible. So
Yeah, man.
I got to.
That's
my-
a cheap thing. It's they're used to the spotlight. You know what I mean? They like the spotlight.
Yeah.
My producer had.
Also, don't forget, guys, send in Rufy. You getting emails on the saltiest guy in your file?
Yeah, I got about 10 pictures, but I need a few more.
We need more. We got a contest coming up. Send it in your saltiest guy in your firehouse. And Louis, me, and Pete will vote on the top 6, and then we'll send it out to you guys, and you guys pick the number 1 guy, and whoever is picked number 1 will be on the show, and we're going to give you a gift certificate. We don't know how much, because Squeaky over there, we got to see how much he wants to follow. You know, a couple of
Chief,
$100
Terry-
maybe.
Terry Falrice says hello. He said
Oh,
no Aruba this year.
Yeah.
And lest we forget, guys, the first Do It Your Old Lady's box shirt is up right now, and we're almost
It's
sold out,
available.
right?
Wow.
We're almost sold out. I put another order in. Chief, you want one of these? First do it your own.
What size?
Right?
You look a little thin now. What size
I'm
are you
a
at now?
large. Yeah, I'm a large.
Large?
No,
Used to
no
be like
more
extra
extra.
large back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no more.
First do at your old lady's box. They're all being shipped out tomorrow. I picked them up today. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing one. First do at your old lady's
You should have
box.
actually
Order them
go to
now.
the back so we didn't have to look at your mug all the whole night.
All these retired,
Mamma mia! Hey, there it is.
all these
First-
retired guys with all the money. Buy fucking break down.
I
Buy
mean, they cramp up.
Buy half a
Chief,
dozen.
everybody's cramping up. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, cheap
Yeah.
have alligator arms.
Oh,
T-Rex arms, right?
To your friends, give them out to a gift.
Do some,
we're
do
giving
something.
them out.
Spend
We're
some money.
We're ordering decals. First do at your old lady's box, and we'll still soon put them on mugs, coffee mugs. First do at your old lady's box.
So
Check them out, Pete. Where can you find them, Pete?
All right, you can find all that beautiful good stuff at gettinsaltyapparel.com. And, you know, there's other things on there too, like little toiletry bags and cigar cutters and all that fun stuff. So come check us. Exactly.
you know,
Check us out there. Boom. And guys, as always, youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience. Do me a favor. Get your little digits out and give us the finger. See that right there?
Smash it.
Like,
Smash it. Like
Like.
it. Share it.
Subscribe, share. Guys, we want to come out to you. We want to see your LA firehouses and so on and so forth. So the only way for us to do that is to get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger than that. And then we can come out and do a spotlight perhaps on your firehouse.
Shameless plug.
And guys, for your up-to-date, last-second information coming in hot, go to Instagram at Salty Dog Inc. That's where Mr. Louis Rafano up there will be putting up all the coolest images and also all the last-minute stuff. And don't forget, guys, you can also subscribe to the audio version of this podcast wherever podcasts are found. And that is all.
I got one more, bro. We're mulling over the idea of making thong panties that say first due by the stacks.
With an arrow.
Listen, with an arrow. If you're gonna buy them for your old lady, let us know. Otherwise, I'm not spending the scuttle to make them, bro.
You know, Cap, I thought you changed. I saw somebody. I was in the kitchen one day with you and Mary going at it. You didn't change, bro.
Dude, the guy's the hornio from Borneo. He's horny. He's horny,
I was
bro.
a captain. I saw him going at it.
Thongs you buy for your old lady.
I was saying I got a sock guy. I got the white sock guy. You know, we're gonna put that. No, he don't want sock. He wants thong.
First due.
He's a horny bastard.
If you buy them for your old lady, let us know. We'll make them at this first due thongs at your old lady's box. Catch us.
All right.
Check out the
Pete, I just want to say you did a great job, and I think you're the catalyst of this whole thing.
Yeah, he's definitely the guy who keeps the glue together.
That's it, man. Thank you.
Chief, that's an honor coming from a man of your stature. I really appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're the glue, bro. You're the glue.
And you're a good man. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Pal.
We really appreciate it, brother.
I'm looking forward to my goodie bag.
It'll have a thong in it. Only it'll be used.
Nice. All right, fellas. Listen.
Thanks, man. Thank you,
Chief. Thank you so much. Enjoyed it. Great,
Thanks,
great guest. Awesome stuff.
And listen, anything you need, just give me a buzz.
Like what? Like
like you want names? Shit, I'll get you
a couple of names.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else, maybe.
No. There we go. I'm out. I'm out.
I love it.
All right, gentlemen.
Those names. All right, listen. Stay low and go, bitches. Out.
Chief, it was good to see you. I like the mustache. I like the mustache better, I think.
All right.
You still look good.
Thanks.
See you at the big one, boys.
Hang in there with us, Chief. Stand by for a sec, everybody. See you later.